And excuse me, may I add one more comment that I forget to do? So I'd like to talk about, if it's possible, usage of first come, first use. So looks like we said that if somebody rented a park place, a permit will be issued for him, and it will be the only proof for anybody else that he have rented. Other cities actually post a message in a park a day before, so that people who'd like to use it on first serve basis capable to go there a day before and plan if it is already rented or not.
We're out of public
So-
comment, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's public comments over, I think.
Okay, you
Okay.
go.
I
You
believe
got
we're
the.
good now.
All right.
Thank
Are
you.
there any other public comments?
None on Zoom.
All right, we'll move to item 4, approval of minutes. Are there any comments or changes to the minutes from our last meeting? Okay, if there are no changes to the meeting, is there a motion to approve the minutes from a regular meeting on February 21st, 2024?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Commissioner Green moves to approve move the minutes. Is there a second?
I second.
Commissioner Maninder Singh seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Minutes approved from last meeting. Moving to item 5.A, policy and action items. Approve the picnic rental policies and recommend to board for adoption. And Laura, I think you have a presentation for us.
Yep. So staff recommend that the Mountain House Parks and Recreation Commission approve the picnic rental policy and recommend it to the board for adoption. So just to summarize, the board adopted the current facility use policy back in September of 2021. And that policy contained both picnic spaces as well as fields, which are now included in our new athletic field rental policy. Staff presented a draft version of the separate picnic policies at our meeting in February, which outlined the general policies, regulations, and processes for renting a picnic space. So the suggestions are that we update the policy to include Cortez Park. We allow one table picnic areas to be on a first come, first served basis. The new policies identify clustered picnic areas of 2 or more tables that either have a covered shelter, bathrooms, and or an adjacent green space for to accommodate larger groups. We go from an hourly rental to an all-day rental, 8 a.m. to dusk. And the new prices reflect the current hourly rate at an average of 3 hours per use and the deposit that is equal to the rental fee. We also provide restriction on amplified sounds, and we currently make all picnic rentals available to reserve online. Right now, you have to submit a paper copy. So staff have provided the commission with a comprehensive draft. New and updated topics include, again, like I said, change from hourly booking to all day, restrictions on amplified sound. We added a clause about explicit music. We allow inflatables at select picnic areas, and those will be identified in a matrix. We remove the special event permit requirement because the maximum capacity is about 60, and a special event permit is 150 or more. We do allow alcohol to be served, but it's at select parks, and that'll be listed in the matrix. It outlines discounts for nonprofits and additional fees for commercial users and non-residents. And again, we're changing the fees to represent all-day usage and deposits amount equal to the rental fees. So I didn't pull out every single page, but I pulled out the pages that have the most changes. I left the red lines so that you could visually see what we changed from our last meeting. Some of the changes are just either grammar or contextual or some things that I went over with our staff, different processes. But I'll highlight the ones that I think that the commission should be made aware of. So residents can book as far out as a year and non-residents 9 months. This option for permit changes allows the customer to make their own cancellations without needing staff. We updated this matrix to update all of the capacity. We figured besides the table capacity, there is space capacity that we would allow people to bring their own tables and chairs. No alcohol is allowed at certain parks. We do allow parks based on our municipal code. Currently, it says if as long as you have it at a park that has a restroom. So we identified the parks that do not have restrooms and we specifically said no alcohol. If you do want alcohol at your park, you can only serve it, you cannot sell it. And you also have to get an additional alcohol permit from us.
From Mountain House or from ABC?
From Mountain House. If you intend to sell it, you can't do that at a park. You can do that in an indoor facility. That would require an additional step where you would contact the county for an ABC permit. But in this case, you would just get it through Mountain House. Staff and I decided it would probably be a good idea to include a clause about no explicit music, but we do want to point out about the decibel usage. Code enforcement is currently creating a decibel requirement in our parks, but we listed 70, which is kind of standard. And as you can see from that graphic on the right, 70 is outside noise. It's not too loud, but it's like traffic, basically, maybe a little less than traffic. So we did update that alcohol policy, but previously said that no alcohol was allowed, but our previous policies in the municipal code do allow alcohol under certain circumstances. So again, staff recommends that the Mountain House Parks and Recreation Commission approve the picnic rental policy and recommend to the Board of Directors for adoption. Any questions?
So quick question, on the alcohol consumption, public intoxication, not to exceed 6 hours of total usage, does that apply to serving alcohol or? Because if somebody gets
It does. So that was a policy that we had for indoor usage, which is where we charge per hour. Assuming that a rental will be out there all day from 8 till dusk.
Yeah.
We are still going to restrict them to use it 6 hours.
Okay. And only beer and wine, no hard liquor.
Say again?
And the alcohol policy is only for beer and wine and no hard liquor.
Correct.
Yes, Ms. Green.
So with the alcohol permit from the city, what does that entail? And is it an additional cost?
It's an additional $50.
So what would that cover? So someone that's having an event, a birthday party or something, and they're drinking beers, we're charging them $50 extra for them to have their beer.
Correct.
So that, is that a standard? Is that standard with?
That is the current fee. And I'll just remind the commission that we will be taking reassessing all of our fees and bringing them back for you to review. So that is the current fee that we currently have. It's basically for administrative costs and maybe perhaps just for an example, hiring a security to go out there just to review, check out the park. There could be extra damage caused by people drinking. There may be additional garbage services. So that $50 permit fee would cover those additional costs.
So wouldn't that be part of their deposit? If there's additional damages and
It
stuff
could be,
caused
but the
or
extra
garbage?
$50 will probably cover
Yeah,
those
that's,
things.
I don't know, it just seemed like, I know our fees seem like they're getting kind of excessive, like for, I know we have to go over them, but
Mhm.
just like application fee, deposit, I mean, it
There are a
can
lot of
be
fees.
hundreds of dollars for a 2-3 hour kid's birthday party.
Mhm.
And then I just think that our fees are really getting,
Yeah, so when we bring back all of our fees, we'll have an explanation about what they do and what they pay for. And then you as a commission can make the recommendation to either increase it or to lower it.
okay. And one question, so we moved from all day from hourly to all day. Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
From hourly to all day. Can we do both rentals? Just a question.
What do you mean to both?
Can they rent, do we have hourly and daily rentals, or it's just gonna be a daily rental?
It would just be a daily rental.
Is it something, could we do it to have hourly or daily?
Yes, so that was, I believe we discussed that at the last commission meeting, and I think it was brought up a couple times.
Right, I don't
And it
think we
was-
ever,
It was recommended that either be half day or just be an all day. The data from last year showed that most rentals were 3 to 4 hours. And there were no parks that really rented back-to-back rentals on the same day. And to me, that data implies that you're not having multiple people try to get at the same park at the same time.
so if someone wanted to do a kid's birthday party, let's say at 11, from 11 to 2, someone could then rent it from like 3 to 7?
Under
or-
this new policy, no. But if the group were to leave at 2, it would be a first come, first serve at that point for anybody.
Okay, did we decide that?
I don't know that you all decide because the policies haven't been approved yet. So this is still your opportunity to ask those questions and make those
Mm.
recommendations.
Yeah, I think we should have both options. It's just my opinion.
Okay.
Laura, I also think there should be some option, flexibility in terms of half a day or at least some framework where, or at least on weekends, to have that.
So you'll be telling that to your commission here and asking them if they would reconsider that. They can discuss that.
To the, I think Rona has a similar point, right? To have some flexibility of adding half a day at least, instead of whole day. So birthday parties don't go for full day, 3 hours maximum, 4, but then weekends get busier, so people can book second half for the parties or whatever they have it. I understand first come, first serve, but then people will not know it that. They would assume there's a rental always reservation for that place. So something to think about it, maybe how we can bring flexibility.
I had also advocated for that last time, but I was convinced otherwise at that time, but it has come up again. I think the commission should consider, based on the recent comments that I have seen from the community, I think there is desire to have more flexibility.
And the surveys that the cities that we surveyed all do all-day rentals, with the exception of our neighbor Tracy. They do hourly, but for the most part, most of the cities do an all-day rental.
What's the,
I also agree with Rona. Yeah, let's talk about hourly and full day
since like Mountain House residents, they are paying a lot more taxes than Tracy. And like Mr. Ross said, it's a lot of comments on Facebook. People who are not happy with our current policy that we have for full day, and it's a lot for them to have a 2-3 hours birthday party at the park. I think we should definitely consider it, or maybe lower the fees, whatever works best. And we also need to do something about the insurance, and I think a lot for people to pay if they want to use it for few hours, and they have to pay a lot of money for the insurance. I don't think so. It's good idea. For $400, they can like book a banquet hall, like somewhere, maybe in a small hall in Tracy, or where they provide everything,
Mhm.
electricity or everything. But I think it's a lot for park to pay $300-400, including the insurance.
So
Uh,
just for context, if I may,
Yes.
Central Park is $45 an hour for a resident. Average rental is 3 hours, and that's $135 for 3 hours. Our new policy and fees recommend all day for 120. Community feedback is that it's too much because a lot of people are renting it for 4 or 5 hours. And at $45 a piece, that's upwards of $250. So this rate would be more in line with what other communities are offering as far as all day and the fees. Because like you said, the additional insurance can be expensive. If they want to have alcohol, there's another fee. They're paying a rental fee, or I'm sorry, an application fee. So
And how many insurance claim we had in last 4 years?
4 years?
Yeah, how many insurance claim we had? How many time we have to make the claim that somebody damaged the park?
I can't say for sure. I've been here a year and I don't know of any.
How many you have seen in last year?
None.
Then I think we should like bypass it for the insurance. If we didn't have any
can't-
major
we can't.
claim.
I've actually inquired with our risk manager and we're mandated to
Mhm.
have, request it. And a lot of cities do that as well.
I think one of the things that we have to look at too is that if we're having a rental, and for a rental, all these things are required, but for first come, first serve, they're not.
Correct.
People can just come to the park and they don't have to have any of these requirements. And the only risk is that somebody might be at the table at the time that you want it, as opposed to, as opposed to hundreds of dollars, for basically the table. So I do think we really should look at that, because I just feel like we're going to end up having a lot of people not making reservations and just using the facilities. And we have nothing to cover us.
Is it possible to consider insurance for non-residents as opposed to residents?
So we've asked the risk manager and they said for any rental, so any official rental, you've submitted a deposit, you're an organized group, you've applied, you're required to have insurance. But if you and your family just decide to use a picnic area for first come, first serve, we don't require it.
What's the risk? So that's the thing.
Unfortunately, I can't speak to that.
I think, when like sitting here, and I know last time when we discussed this too, sitting here, it just makes a lot of sense when you're going over all of these policies and stuff to make sure that we as a city will be covered. But on the flip side, we have to we want people to reserve the parks. We want them to abide by our rules and regulations. But if we make it to the point to where they can't even afford to do a kid's birthday party and just start going out to the park and setting up their own tables, that's a risk too. So I think we need to, with the risk management, maybe we need to kind of look at some sort of compromises to where everybody is
Mhm.
is happy. We have to come up, we have to figure this out because it's getting, we're feed out.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody's has same three issues. One is how much it cost. Second is insurance, and then it is about how whether it's a full day or hourly rate. So I think so I'm not sure. Do we set the price or that's done by the CSD board on the rental for the picnic areas? We
Um,
decide on that or?
The board is the ultimate decision maker on
Okay.
that. They would approve it or not, but we are going to be coming to them with our recommendation
Yeah.
of what it would cost.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, still $120 for renting a table. And, obviously it seems like there is, if you just show up, you don't have to do anything. You can bring your own hibachi or, your own grill. So I think and you have benchmarked this base rate against Tracy or how many? Okay.
But like I said, Tracy charges hourly rate.
Tracy charges hourly.
All of the other ones I surveyed do a daily rate.
Yeah.
And I
Are
just
there-
based, I just came up with the fee based on an average of 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I just multiplied what the current fee is times 3.
For the all day.
It's approximately the same.
Right. Are there any cities that don't charge at all?
Not that I know. No. If
Okay.
you want to reserve it, then there's going to be a fee involved.
Okay. And is there some sort of a range that, Tracy charges, you said 45, now it's 120 is, that's $35 an hour?
It would be based on 3 of
3 hours.
3 of the
Okay.
$45 an hour. I mean, I know it's a little bit less.
So are there any that charge less than $45 an hour?
I
Is there a
don't
range? I'm
remember.
trying to get to range because.
So when
is
I
there-
surveyed the cities, I didn't survey their prices. I just surveyed if they did it all day
Okay.
or by hourly.
Yeah.
When we come back with the fees, that's when we'll be assessing all the other cities and presenting to you what, we'll probably choose about 5 comparable cities, some neighboring cities and maybe some Bay Area cities that are approximately the same size.
Right, okay.
So just so I'm clear, Laura, I'm not saying that we should not charge a fee. I'm just saying it should be affordable.
Mhm.
And I do think that we have to cover ourselves for anybody being in the park.
Mhm.
So whether they're in the park under a reservation or they're in the park without one, we still don't want to be liable for anything that happens to anybody while they're there.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying.
I have one feedback. Also, I think the 45 is a high rate per hour. We should also think about if there are 50 people and more, yes. If there are less than 50 people or less than 25 people, I'm just saying having that flexibility will help. Otherwise, 45 seems like a high rate per hour. City of Tracy also breaks down by people, number of people. Because if you only 10 people are coming, you're paying $45, it's expensive.
So if you look at that too, though, who's going to go out and count the people? So if someone is going to rent it and it's lower for 10 people than it is for 20 people, I'm going to reserve it for 10 people. And if 5 extra show up, I didn't know. So you know what I'm saying? I don't
No,
want to
yeah.
get to the point to where we're counting people. Someone has to be out there. We have to pick a rate that is just consistent and conducive so that, and affordable for the residents of Mountain House, not just,
Absolutely.
we don't want to nitpick, but we do want to make sure that it's affordable. And I think the biggest problem for us right now, the highest cost is not so much the rental, which it's a little high, but it's the insurance. And I don't know if there's anything that we're going to be able to do about that. because it's not us.
Is the insurance, Laura, standard? That won't change, 1 million?
Right. That's standard.
So then the other option is to offset, if you absolutely have to get insurance, then you can offset it by lowering how much we charge, rental we charge.
Yes,
So
that's
that
a
kind of subsidizes the,
yep,
yeah.
good point.
um,
Because I called a couple of places, Commissioner Vishal, just to get some rates. If for one day, Laura, it probably like $100-something cost for insurance only. So maybe it's a good point, Commissioner Vishal brought that. Maybe we should think about per hourly rate, give them some offsetting in that, because insurance is not going to change.
That's true. However, when they pay insurance, that it doesn't come to Mountain House. It doesn't have anything to do with us. It goes directly to the insurance company. So we still, I'm not saying we don't need to offset. I'm just giving us something to think about because we can't lower our rate so much that our cost to have people out there to do the reservation, to do the work that we need to do, to where basically we're paying the insurance company or we're not getting recouped because we have lowered it so much, because that money goes to the insurance company. It does not come to Mountain House. So we need to make sure that the fees cover the expenses of Mountain House staff to be able to set these things up too.
Yep, absolutely. If we know how much it costs, then obviously that will help. Thank you.
In terms of the fee schedule that is to come at another in the future, I am wondering whether or not the decisions we make on this policy today would be tied to some of the fees. For example, whether or not we decide on half day or hourly or full day will have an impact on how you structure the fee schedule. So would it be useful for the commission to at least see the fee schedule alongside this policy in order to better have the flexibility to decide on some of the policy changes if needed? The other comment I have is in terms of insurance, just throwing it out there, is it possible for residents, is it possible for us to include the insurance in the fees? Meaning they don't have to go out and fetch insurance or look into that. Perhaps insurance is, or as an option, included in the rental. And the city can negotiate better rates based on the number of rentals happening every year.
So I have inquired about that and
Okay, thank you.
I was told that it's right now it's on the responsibility of the renter to get their insurance instead of to purchase it through the city.
Question. Is it a way that we can lower the amount of insurance that they need? Because right now it's $1 million policy. And could we, if we lower the amount of insurance, like maybe $250,000, that would definitely lower the cost of the insurance for,
I will certainly go back to our risk manager with all of these questions,
okay.
all of them.
That's a very good point. I was about to say the same. Instead of 1 million for 2 hours in a park, 1 million is a huge.
1 million is pretty
Disconnect.
standard. I know I think the million and 2 million kind of throw us all off, but it's fairly standard. But I will certainly ask because I'm not an insurance agent myself. So I'll ask them, number one, I'll ask about perhaps waiving it, maybe for a certain number of people. I'll ask if we can lower the amount, the aggregate amount, maybe from 2 million to 1. And then I will ask if we can have them purchase the insurance to us. So.
In terms of the fees schedule, for example, if somebody is trying to rent the west side of the fountain area, there's a little picnic area.
Mm.
That would be same as somebody trying to rent the little spot by northeast side of the park where right now there's the road that goes towards Safeway eventually, that corner.
Providence?
Yes, I think it's, yeah. There's a small little picnic area with one bench.
Those
and
will
one-
all be taken offline and there'll be first come, first serve, and there's no reservation required for those.
Okay, just trying to get some clarification. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So we're just trying to rent out the areas that are clustered areas. If you see on page 15 of the packet, it just identifies 6 parks. And then within each park, some have 2, some have 3, or I'm sorry, some have 1, 2, or 4 tables or picnic areas within those parks. And only these were identified because they're much larger. They have more tables, they have more amenities, they have bathrooms, they're shaded.
Yes, Ms. Green.
So the deposits are refundable, right?
Correct.
So would it be, could we raise the deposit amount to cover maybe some of the things that, especially like with beer bottles and trash and stuff like that? If we do, can we include that in the refundable deposit? So let's say instead of it being 120, it would be 170. And that would include the permit, but if all of that is cleaned up, then they would get that back.
Yeah, we could raise the deposit, but that would just require more fees upfront from the customer because the deposit's due at the time of the rental.
Right, but at least you know you're gonna get it back. So at least if the deposit is higher, it would, for me, it would make sure that I made sure that that area was going to be
Yeah,
taken
if the
care of.
damage exceeds the deposit, then we generally would bill the customer. at that point.
This way we can recoup our money up front. Just
I
a
think that's a
suggestion.
good point, like Rona said. And instead of charging extra $50 for alcohol, yeah, if they make any mess, we can just cover from the deposit. If they don't, they can just get their deposit back.
So all of the previous policies that I brought to your attention, I did not include fees because we were going to keep with the current fees and bring them back later. In this case, though, I did bring fees back because if you're going to change from an hourly to a daily, you also need to change the fees. So as Commissioner Raj Singh mentioned, we will be, so tonight, if you want to approve these rates, these will be the new standard rates, and then we'll bring those back again for your approval with all of the other fees. And you may want to reconsider these fees at a future date. Once staff come back with more detail, once we survey other cities and once we determine what the true costs are, you may want to either raise it or lower it at that point.
So, Laura, you're recommending that we approve these and then when we have the next meeting, then we can amend the rates based on the feedback or the survey we conduct with other cities? Or-
Correct.
Okay.
If any of you want to make any changes to what's currently in here, you would make that recommendation in your motion. And then you'd take a vote. And if somebody didn't want it, you could make another recommendation and another motion and another vote. And we have our district's attorney, Ms. Getz, on the line as well, if we have any questions.
Yeah, I have no questions.
So we're ready for a motion now, Laura?
It's up to your chair.
Should we open up for public comment on this item? I thought maybe there was a comment from someone on Zoom.
Yes, that's the next, are there any public comments on the rental policies?
We had a comment from Igor via chat, but I don't know if it's relevant. Igor, did you want to make your comment?
No, because we are not talking about the fees right now.
Okay.
Okay, public comments are closed now. Is there a motion to approve the draft and recommend to board for adoption?
Yeah, I would like to make the motion to discuss the park fees again. I would like to make the motion to discuss one more time on the fees in the next meeting.
For all of our fees?
Yeah, like you said, we can discuss in the next meeting if we can lower the rate, or if we want to talk about that, how we can make the motion.
At the very end, we discuss, if there's anything that you want to add for a future agenda item.
Okay, can we add that on the future?
When we get to that item, 6C,
Okay,
we'll open it up.
okay, all right.
In terms of the changes we discussed today, or in the hourly or half-day flexibility, a couple other things. I am of the opinion that the commission lets those changes complete before we move forward, as opposed to trying to do a very complex motion and pass it. I think it should be tabled for the next meeting.
So I think how it work is if there are any items that you want to change, you can do a motion to change those items. And then we can go back and have a discussion on those items. If as an example, if you wanna change the rate, then you can motion and
Well, the issue there is that we want to look at this in conjunction with the fee schedule now, because there is a connection. Whether you want to change for half day or hourly, or the insurance impact, there's questions that the manager has to go and check with the risk folks before we can definitely decide on all of these items. I think once we have those answers, we'll be better prepared. So my recommendation to the commission is to table this decision.
do we have to motion to table this, or we can just table it for?
I make the motion to table the policy for next meeting.
So
Um,
first, Raj, I want to be clear. So the fees that are on the paper right now are not the fees that are necessarily set in stone.
They will be if you approve it tonight.
If we approve it
And-
tonight, these will be?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said they would go back
Well,
and
it
then we'd
will
have
go back.
opportunity to change them.
If you approve these fees as they are in this policy now, they will be set. And when we take the new fees and you assess them, you can change them at that point. So if you approve these fees now, they will be in effect as soon as the board approves it.
Right. But then when you set all of the fees,
They
then
will
we have the
change.
opportunity to change these
Correct.
fees then.
Correct.
So if we table them until next meeting, then what?
Then we would have the opportunity to have spoken with the risk. We will have more information on insurance. There'll be more work done on more information from other cities in terms of hourly, half-day. There might be, as a way of this meeting, more input from citizens. I think it allows for staff to get all those answers for us.
And right now, I don't know that we'll have the fees assessed before probably June or July. So if you're waiting for that to happen first, then these policies won't be approved until then.
Yeah, the option to that is collectively, we can decide what is the right base rate. And we can have that base rate till then, till we get the prices in June. And go with that. The other option is to go with the prices we have, the base rates we have right now. And then when we have the new rates in June, then we can decide what the base rate should be. So I think those are the two options. And again, all the concerns we had about base rate, insurance, and timing for how long you should be able to reserve. None of them have been addressed, and they need to, we need to review them again. So we can either approve and
So
amend
let
it
me-
next time
let
or
me
table it.
ask,
One
so-
second, or table it, and we have more information. At least we can get more information on insurance and risk, and on how we want to do half day, full day, and then we can have that discussion next meeting, and we can at least approve that part, or wait till June for the whole policy to be amended. So, sorry, Commissioner Raj.
That's agreed. I think that's a better plan. We can still approve this in June with the additional information, in next meeting in April. And then in June, we can look at the entire schedule. But with respect to
So you want to table this till April to do what?
to get the get information in terms of insurance. And although I do like the idea that let's say if we approve it today, the way it is, it would still have to go to board in April, right?
Correct.
Well-
It'll go in May.
It'll go in May. Okay, so even if we come back in April and look at it again, it'll still go in May, right? So these won't be effect until June anyway, or July 1?
This policy, once it gets approved by the board, it's effective immediately.
Immediately. So it won't be effective until May in either case. So then, and if we look at it again, table it until April, it would still go to the board in May, right?
Correct.
No, it'll still go to the board in May.
You could still make it to the board in May. It can't make it to the April one because we delayed this meeting by a week. So,
So in
It's
that
too
case,
late
I
for
think
April.
that there's no harm to table it.
so you want me to come back with insurance information? And what else?
The
Hourly or a full day rate, right?
I'm sorry, the what?
whether or not we should do hourly, a half day, the flexibility in terms of half day, hourly, full day.
So you still want to discuss flexibility in your day?
Yes.
Can I recommend we just do two of the options? I feel like if it's hourly, half day, full day, that's gonna get too complicated. So that's my opinion.
Right, I think that's something we
I
can.
think we say a full day is these rates, half day is maybe 75%, something like that. But I think having all three options, it's gonna get too confusing.
Yes.
Laura's
I
done the
agree.
research. She's seen how a lot of cities do it. So let's stress that.
I agree with that. I think at least some flexibility. Right now, we have none.
Laura, this can be approved next time also with changes, right? It doesn't need to be approved today, right? As there will be some changes, looks like from the comments, correct?
Right, so I will come back with the insurance information, but you still all have to discuss and decide what flexibility you want to give the customer.
The feasibility and the hourly rate,
Right.
right?
So that's something we can maybe, yeah.
We can do
recommend
today
Yeah.
and get it done, that part.
I agree with Scott's idea in terms of, less fees, half day, whatever that has to be, 75%.
But for the half day, we need to think maybe it's gonna be from 9 to 12 or 9 to 1, then 1 to 5, half day. How will that work? Like how we can make it a half day? If somebody want to book it from 1 to 4, I don't know how that will work.
And keep in mind the time of the day, the end of the day changes from winter to summer. Also keep in mind that picnics have been, even though we didn't get a lot of community feedback tonight, we find a lot of it on social media and through emails. And the current rates right now are very expensive, the hourly rate. That is our largest amount of comments. So the longer we wait on approving these, the more people will still have to rent our hourly rate. And I know from a staff's perspective, we've been getting a lot of inquiries lately about rentals. So they'll be picking up in the next 3 or 4 months. Or I'm sorry, 2
No,
to 3 months.
the current rate we have right now, is it gonna be cheaper than what we going to approve tonight? Or it's more expensive, the current rate we have right now?
Just using Central Park as an example, it's $45 an hour.
So right now it's hourly, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So I think then we should approve this tonight, because if somebody wanna book the Central Park for 4 hours, they have to pay 150. At least now they will be paying 120.
Well, the issue with that is this won't go into effect until the board approves in May, which is why we earlier discussed that. It's no harm to wait.
So we will have an opportunity to review the fees again. So we should, well, I can't say what we should do, but the options are approve these tonight and these fees will go into effect.
No, they won't until the board approves in May.
Right, until in May, but if we
Yeah.
bring it back, we're still not discussing, because we're talking about rentals, but what we've been talking about has been the cost and the fees. We haven't even discussed what we would like to reduce the fees to, if that's even an option. So at this point, what's on the table so we can make a decision if we're going to approve these tonight or table them until April?
So
Hey,
what's on table is two things. One is the flexibility, which you had brought up earlier, Commissioner Green, and whether or not the city could look into insurance, the risk part. I think we can decide on half day, hourly today, that for that change to be included.
What would you like staff to bring back to give you a more educated decision? Is there something that you need to know before you make the right decision? So
Laura-
I will bring back insurance. answers.
Cost, if you have it,
Cost for what? For renting a park?
the hourly rate, just what's a break-even number
for staff costs and maintenance and all that?
No, 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 the hourly rate which we are charging 45, right? So if we know what's the cost is, let's say the cost is 25.
Right, so I'll find
whatever.
out what staff costs and maintenance costs
Yeah.
and
Yes,
for your typical.
that will be
rent.
helpful, yeah, Laura. Thank you.
Okay.
And how much the hourly fees in Cordis right now?
I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
So right now it's $60 for whole day, right? The one we are trying to approve tonight. I think if that's pretty, I don't think so residents knows about that. If it's
I
gonna
believe it's $20 an hour.
$20 an hour.
Yeah.
So but 60 is for the whole day, right?
Mhm.
But I think it's not that expensive though. Like if anybody you can't lower than $20 per hour, right? I think for the coders and that's still, I think, pretty, it's not that expensive though. $60 for a whole day. I don't think so. Residents should have any problem paying that.
Yeah,
And-
just keep in mind, there's another $20 application fees also.
Can we do something? How much is the application fees?
How
Or
much is-
the-
Application processing fees.
$20.
Can we lower that to $5? Then what exactly like staff has to do when they work on the application? Do they have to do anything in physically, like it just like they have to look at that for the application?
I'm sorry, I don't
So
understand.
like where does that $20 goes?
Oh, it's primarily for, it's staff entering it all in. It's, our public works crew that goes out and cleans the park. It's to prepare the tables if there's any damage caused by, barbecue coals that are left on a bench. It's just general maintenance.
No, is it not that we already charging deposit for that if there is any damage to a barbecue or any table? Then why we are charging?
Well, there's also a lot of people out there that just rent it or just use the park too. So somebody during the week damages the park's crew is going to go out there and they're going to fix it and they're going to prepare it and they might have to pressure wash it for a rental that might be coming up the following week.
No, what has to do with the $20 fees?
The rental fees pay for the
Yeah,
maintenance.
I know that does, but how about I'm talking about the processing fees, $20 per application.
Mhm. Oh, the application fee?
Yeah,
Oh, that's staff. That's strictly staff entering it in and managing it and communicating with the with the
Can-
customer, communicating with Public Works. It's the fees that we have that are charged by our reservation system covers those fees.
can we lower that?
I can't tell you that right now because we haven't done a fee assessment yet.
Okay.
So a fee assessment involves looking at our current fees and then determining what the true costs are. So we'd have to figure out every little fee. And then what we would have to do is you would have to determine, is a picnic rental, should it be 100% cost recovery? And if that's the case, and I find out it costs approximately $13 to manage a picnic area, then that's what we're going to charge the renter, $13 to cover 100% of the costs.
But I still think the $60 is not that much for the whole day. Yeah, I think we should approve this. And then we
If-
can talk. in
Then you
next
should,
meeting.
if you want, you can make a motion
Yeah,
and then Vishal can call for a vote. And if it doesn't pass, then somebody else can make a motion and until it passes. And if someone wants to make a motion to table this item, to bring back specific items, then they make the motion, everybody would vote, and then we would bring it back.
but we can definitely discuss the 120 for the Central Park. I think that's a lot, but $60 and $30 for other parks, that's not that much. I don't think so.
So it's-
Residents should have problem
Mm.
with that much.
Central Park has more amenities than these other parks, so, and it's a higher demand for Central Park, so I think it should be a higher cost. I'm not saying 120, but I think, well, that's the idea behind it being higher because of the higher demand. But,
By having the flexibility and actually lowering the rate for the Central Park, we will like get more revenue, in fact, by having that flexibility of half a day and not. For example, let's say the rate reduces to $30 an hour instead of 45. So someone books for 4 hours, that's 120. Another 4-hour reservation or whatever, another 120.
No,
Your revenue.
We are
actually-
not here for the revenue, we are here.
No,
for
I'm
the
not talking about, I'm just, no, it's not
That-
about just revenue. It's about giving people the ability to book it.
No, but
That's
if
also a
anybody
reason.
gonna pay for 120 for 4 hours, why don't they just don't pay for the whole day?
Yeah, but this family will be reserved whole day. They will stay there while someone else can use that. We have a population of 28,000 people here and still increasing. So it's not just revenue I'm not talking about. That's not the main reason. It's the flexibility and of course, the rates. That and insurance, 3 things we discuss through the discussion.
If I come back,
Yes, Ms. Green, 1 second, Laura. Excuse me.
Scott, what was your statement again, please?
I was just saying to make it simple, we do one or the other, hourly or half day, make it simple. My thought is we make it half day and will we want to incentivize full day? So maybe you do 75% of the rate half day. Maybe you come up with 8 AM to noon and then 1 PM to dusk. That's my thought.
So your thought is 2 options, all-day rental or half-day
That
rental?
gives the flexibility.
Or
but
not
it
hourly.
incentivizes to do full day. If you charge them that and 75% for half day, it incentivizes the full day rental. Which is what I
So,
think we want.
but do we want to have the full day rental
Yeah, give both options, half day and full.
as opposed to full day and hourly?
I'd
So
rather do half day it seems,
full day, half day, or full day hourly?
so with 2 options. One is you rent it for the full day or one is you do, I guess, well, that's the thing. If you have one day where someone does the first half, then you can't do the full day. So I guess that, yeah. Just trying to think of it right now.
No, but if somebody books half day, then that day is, obviously the only person you can be booked. I mean, your system will still work, I think.
Mhm.
Because if somebody's booking full day, they're
I
getting.
mean, you could set it up where like if they rent the first half, then it says, oh, it's only available the second half of the day. But then if you select the full day option, then it removes the whole day. I'm sure the
Yeah.
system could do that.
But what if someone only needs it for 2 hours
Then they do half day.
as opposed
How
to hourly?
How we gonna calculate that half day, like starting from what time till what time? Well, usually.
I have an idea of you do 8 AM to noon and then 1 PM to dusk, because like Laura said, the times could change on desk. And
Or like 9 to 1 and then 1 hour break for cleanup, 2 to 6.
But
But it opens at
nobody
8
gonna
AM.
7 or
I
whatever.
think.
Nobody gonna leave at 1 o'clock and park staff wouldn't have enough time, I think. I don't know how that will work. But yeah,
I mean, the sunset is 8 PM, right?
only in the summer.
So what we have on the table is, because what we have on the table is, I'm asking you.
So what we have on table is, I think hourly, again, for the same reason why half day wouldn't work, because people, for 2 hours, then, there's not enough time to clean up and for other people to arrive. So I think the option, what Scott has recommended, is, I think can work, because we can do half day rentals, give the option for half day and a full day. So if somebody books a half day at 75%, the other half is still available for someone else to reserve, or somebody can reserve full day for, $120, which will be.
Sorry, the reason I'll say 75% is Laura's already reducing the full day rate. So I feel like let's and again, incentivize the full day. Yeah.
Yeah, and even I don't think anybody's gonna book 2 hours worth of table time in a park, so either half day is an option. Where if it's somebody can have it in the morning, somebody can still use it in the evening, or they can book it all day.
I think people do 3 hours reservation, right?
3 to 4 hours is your average renter.
Yeah, 3, 4 hours. So having an hourly and half day both helps. Oh, I mean, hourly rate.
I should say the majority of the I'm sorry, I don't have it with me, but the rentals you usually attend to 2, right in the middle of the day. So they could cross over into both halves of your day.
So we're back at full day
Or
or half a
hourly.
day or hourly.
We have those 3 options. I just need to know what the parameters are
So we
for
would
a
have
half a
to,
day.
so if someone wanted to book a half a day and said, I want half a day rental from 10 to 2, that would eliminate pretty much the rest of the day.
That's why you would need to define what half day is. You have to
Right.
define the hours of a half day.
Exactly. So it would have to
So
be,
under-
what time do we open? Like
8.
8, so it would probably be like a 8 to 1 or 8 to 12 and then a 1 to 6 or something, you know what I mean?
Then I think everybody gonna book from 1 to evening. Nobody gonna come in the morning.
Or again, it'll go back to full day because then
Full
it's
day
the-
or hourly, I think is make more sense, but I'm fine with either one, half day or hourly. But hourly make little bit more sense. It will give people more flexibility, whatever time they wanna choose.
Okay, so I'm going to make an emotion. I'm going to make a motion to adopt the rates as they are now with the ability to revisit them once the board has looked them over and adopted them.
So we can always make amendments later also if, yeah. Commissioner Green moves to approve the final draft of the rental, sorry.
Once the board approves, is there even a possibility to revisit?
To do what?
Based on this motion, Commissioner Green has made a motion that we approve as the policy as it is proposed today, with the ability to revisit after the board, meaning CSD board approves it. Is that even possible?
Yeah, and then we would have to take it back to the board again if you wanted to change anything. But keep in mind that the fees are being brought back separately
Even
in the
these-
future. In the
Even the
future.
fees in here would be
The
in that
these
schedule.
fees will be changing anyway in the future. They could change in the future.
So there could be an amendment in the future for the base rates anyways.
But if it's approved next month in our meeting, does it align still? It will go to May in the month of May, right, Laura?
Correct.
So if it's not approved today, anyway, we can make changes, which looks like will be changes. Then why not approve next time?
With
So
the
that
cha-
we are done with our homework today and next week and done next time.
I agree with that, yes. I think there's no harm in tabling because it's not gonna go to the board until May anyway.
So we have one more
So
month,
I
right?
believe we have a motion right now on the table. So
I will take back my motion.
Camilla, how does she do that?
Request to withdraw your motion. That's fine.
Yeah, I request to withdraw my motion.
Okay, so then we have to really give clear instructions on what do we want to see in the for the next meeting, because we can't have this going indefinitely, and what staff needs to research, we need to provide that information.
I think that the question that is unclear is whether we are asking to go to full day, half day, or full day hourly.
And now we are stuck on this. First, we need to decide full day, hourly, or full day, half day.
So I think somebody needs to make a motion of what they would want it to be, and then we can take a vote and decide one way or the other on that. Is
I
that
think I believe the motion is to bring it back to the next meeting. So in order for me to bring it back, what information do you want me to bring to you for that you can make an educated decision? So one of the examples is you're questioning about the insurance and the cost of the insurance and options. I'll go back and research that and present those to you. If your question then is about the flexibility, do you want me to come back and bring back suggestions for what it would cost for doing a half day as opposed to a full day, or new cost for an hourly rate? I could compare other cities. I could determine how much it costs the district to manage a rental. Are these the kinds of things you'd like me to bring back so that you can make the decision at your next meeting if you want a half day or if you want a full day?
I think cost per hour, how much it cost.
And staff cost and the application processing fees cost. And one other thing, insurance. If we can tie up with any company, like if our residents go with us, we can get some discount.
Also in insurance, lowering, if that's an option or not.
I think leave it right now. We have 1 million or 2 million? 1 million. I think it's good for the city. Like you never know if somebody sue the city tomorrow. So that way insurance can cover up to $1 million.
It's up to the risk manager to determine, not for us to determine that
Yeah.
cost.
Laura, do you have the list of what everybody's mentioned for the research?
Well, so far I only know about the insurance, but what else would you like me to research for you so I can come back?
Cost of the staff,
The cost,
how much it exactly cost us,
Mhm.
and processing fees cost, how much it cost, like some staff to processing the one application.
So if I come back with all those costs next month, then that will help you make a decision if you want to do it hourly, half day, or all day.
Right.
Yes, and also that alcohol thing, like Mrs. Rona said, if we can just increase the deposit instead of charging extra $50 for cleanup, I think that would be also better for residents, so they don't have to pay extra if they don't make any mess or damage anything.
I think it's what we started off trying to figure out is if we would be able to lower the cost of a rental to make it more affordable for residents to be able to rent our parks. And I think mainly Central Park at this point, and that's the most expensive one. And I think we're talking around, our whole point was the fees. So our point was fees, half day, whole day, hourly, insurance cost. But bottom line is, we're looking at all of those things to see if we can make it more affordable for our residents to be able to rent the parks. That's the whole conversation. I think we're getting past that. So what can we change, eliminate, look at differently to see if we can make it more cost-effective for residents without putting a strain on the CSD?
Mhm.
So, going with that spirit, Ms. Green, trying to make it more cost effective and for our residents, I make a motion that the commission table item 5A.
Commissioner Raj Singh moves to table picnic rental and picnic rental policies till the next meeting. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Green seconds the motion. So we'll table
You have to vote.
sorry.
Vote.
Oh, yes. Um, So we'll take a vote on tabling the picnic rental policies till the next meeting. Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Maninder Singh,
Yeah.
Commissioner Raj Singh,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfister.
Aye.
Aye. So we passed the motion to table picnic rental policies till the next meeting.
Microphone. Microphone.
Action item 5.B, approve the tennis court policies and recommend to board for adoption. Laura, do you have a presentation for us?
I do. So again, staff recommends that the commission approve the tennis court rental policies and recommend to the board for adoption. To summarize, the tennis program has grown substantially since June of 2020. Reservations have increased over the past 2 years. Several issues have been brought to staff's attention and shared by the community by members of the board and the tennis community. Some of the concerns are lessons and leagues. Tournaments are taking up court time. Court 1 and 2 are being used by commercial users. Commercial users have been granted more than 10 hours per week. Private rentals use their time on the courts for commercial use. Private rentals, you're using aliases to book multiple times. So just to go back, the board adopted the current policy nearly 4 years ago. So the staff provided the commission with a new draft at their January meeting. Commissioners made their comments and provided staff with their changes and additions. And then staff brought the commission an updated draft at the February meeting. Members of the public attended the February meeting in person and online. Some of their input also included that their new coaches aren't given an opportunity to rent courts due to current coaches taking too much time. Current coaches are charging too much. Current coaches aren't qualified to teach. Court 1 is a prime court. It's less windy. Members of the public should be allowed to reserve and play more each week. So what we did is we updated the policies. It's in your packet. to reflect the commission and public comments, including limiting our commercial users that are primarily lesson-based programs to 20 hours per week during specific hours of the week, only on court 3. So we have, sometimes we'll have coaches on court 1 and 3. Now we're just putting them all on court 3. We're putting them on the courts. They're giving them the option of 1 to 7, or on the weekends from 8 a.m. to 12, and then 3 to 7. Oops, sorry, it's backwards. Allowing renters to, just the public, to rent the courts 2 times per week for 1 hour during primetime hours, 14 days in advance, as opposed to right now where it's only 1 time a week every 7 days. So we're doubling the amount the public can use it. We've been asked to put a cap on the charges that instructors are charging for their lessons on district courts. So we, that's up to you if you want to put a cap on what they're charging. We're penalizing renters if they classify their account as a resident but using it for commercial purposes, because we often find that somebody will rent it on a family name, but they're having lessons on our courts and not going through the proper channels of reserving the courts, providing insurance, et cetera. Penalizing excessive cancellations. We do notice a lot of people cancel a lot of last minutes. Some people don't show up, which is then taking up court time from the public. And sometimes the court will actually sit empty, despite the community wanting to play. We're going to disallow users with aliases. We find a lot of aliases through our system. We can only guess so much that some of them are real and some of them are not. We are going to start requiring commercial users to provide certifications with their rental requests. One of the comments was that the coaches that are currently on the courts are not suitable to teach. So we've already implemented that. As a matter of fact, we've asked the ones that we currently have applications with us to provide certifications that they're certified to actually teach tennis. So again, I'm just pulling up the red line version from the last draft. The red lines indicate any changes that were made since February 21. Again, some of them are just internal process changes, some additions, some grammar things that were changed, but I've highlighted a few things for you. So we have added that the new requirement for coaches to create a standard by which all of the instructors meet to teach on CSD courts, because we want to show the community that we also value what they're teaching on district courts. We're allowing players more opportunities to play during the week by increasing the amount of times they can rent from 1 time per week to 2 times per week.
Laura, sorry for interrupting, but I think we decided on 5 times per week.
We want to allow private people to rent 5 times per week.
I think that's what we decided last time when during this meeting. That was a recommendation by by the public also.
Oh, I may have missed that one.
Yeah.
Microphone.
It says 2 times for 1 hour per week.
Mhm.
But I think you probably can go back and listen to the recording, but I think it was 5 times. Instead of first recommendation was to do 7 times, but I think we settled on 5 times per 5 times for 1 hour per week.
This one is for prime time only. If you look at it, they can still reserve as many times as they want outside of the prime time.
Is that accurate? So that they can only do prime time?
I'd have to go back to the recording. I thought we had changed it to from 1 to 2 times. We did identify the primetime hours because that's when their courts are booked 100% from basically from 5 to 10, they're booked. So, I mean, I can definitely go back and check that, or we can you can make that change tonight to 5.
Yeah, you can make that change to 5. I'm pretty sure that is what everybody, when everybody was here, that they recommended also, although. Yeah.
If the public, if they're given the option to book 5 times, then they're going to be taking up a lot of time away from other members of the public. So
Are you sure it was 5? I don't remember it being 5. You guys remember it being 5?
Okay.
So, yeah, that would mean they can only play twice a week, reserve a court twice a week, whereas, some people would like to play.
Just the prime time, that is, right? They can play twice a week during prime time. But outside of prime time, they can play as many times as they want.
That's to encourage more people to rent when the courts are empty.
Oh, yeah, but can you go back and take a listen to the, or, because I think it was 5 times.
Mhm.
Who wanna play 5 times a week? You do.
I think Raj was right. I don't think it was during prime time though. I think you can rent when, yeah, I don't think it was, but we'll revisit that because
Or you could make that recommendation tonight and we could put it in. So we don't have to bring it back again.
Yeah, so somebody has to make a motion on that so we can get this approved, or is it that's?
Yeah, so when we go to the final approval section, we can put that in your motion. So I apologize if I missed that one. But I do want to let you know, though, if you allow somebody to rent it 5 times, you're going to be taking courts away from other members of the public. What I've found is, right now you have a week to reserve it. So for instance, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, someone will be on the computer 8 o'clock, booking next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, because that's when they're on. So if they're given the option to book 5 times, they're going to book 5 times, and then it may restrict other people from renting it.
I think that's what we discussed.
It's 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. weekdays.
We changed it from 5 to 6. So on page 6 of in your packet, prime time is 6 to 10 p.m. And right now, all the courts are pretty much, all 3 are booked between 5 and 10 p.m. every night. Weekends, they're booked a lot in the morning and then a lot in the afternoon, especially during the summer when it gets hot. So
I do believe us discussing that, but I thought for the reason you said that we didn't do 5 times, we did 2 because exactly what you said, someone could go in there right now and take up that time.
I remember very clearly it was 7 and then we reduced it to 5.
We can revisit that.
So again, we're going to be asking the coaches for their certifications,
Yep.
and that's if they reserve a court from us, we want to make sure that they're certified to teach. Similar to a lifeguard, if you don't want to teach a swim lesson without someone who's been certified. As far as the commercial use, currently the policy states that they're allowed to rent the courts for 10 hours per week. But right now they've been granted 36 hours a week. That's what they've been granted now. Even though the policy says 10 hours, they've been granted 36. This includes leagues as well. So right now, our courts are booked 90 hours a week by coaches and the leagues. The proposed is, let me back that up here. The new proposal is 20 hours per week for coaches, and they can only use court 1. So right now we do sometimes have coaches on court 1 and court 3. I'm sorry, court 3, you're correct. We have coaches on 2 courts at one time, but now we're limiting them to just 1 court, and we're reducing their hours from 36 hours a week to 20 hours per week. We occasionally will have a private coach also that's not affiliated with an organization. And so staff, we recommend that we put this extra clause in here that says commercial use coaches may not book courts more than 5 hours per week. That's your individual standalone coach. We currently have 2 organizations that offer lessons. The Ultimate Sport Academy with Dinesh Kumar and the Mountain House Tennis Club. And there's 3 coaches with them.
And how many hours they get every week?
Those 2 organizations get 36 hours a week.
Now they will be getting 20 hours? Now they will be getting 20 hours?
Correct.
And what if some new coaches want to like use it? How many hours they can get per week?
If it's an individual coach, I recommend no more than 5 hours per week.
Oh, okay.
If a new organization were to come in and wanted to start offering tennis, they could submit it and they would get up to 20 hours per week.
Okay.
Laura, one comment came last time, and the recommendation from many public comment last time was to add more coaches.
Mhm.
Is that include in this?
Yes. So
Does it?
right now, this would be your basic outline, no more than 20 hours. It doesn't mean you automatically get 20 hours. It means no more than 20 hours. Then if we got 3 or 4 coaches that all wanted to use the courts, but they conflict, they all wanted the same time, then we go into the allocation process.
I think I'm talking about signing up more coaches. So right now you mentioned only 2 organizations are in the one.
Because nobody else has bothered to approach. There has been one single coach that's that's approached to rent courts, but we just don't have enough time because they're currently running 36 hours a week. But if we reduce the 2 existing to 20 hours, it opens it up to more coaches in the community.
I think
Okay.
that's what we recommend in last meeting. We should get more coaches or approve their application, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what I-
yes, by reducing the current programs to 20 hours per week.
So that way new coaches can get opportunity as well.
Correct.
So more coaches can now can apply
Yes,
if this is done. Yes, of course.
yes.
Of
And
course.
if you only get 1 court, we only have 1 court available for them from 1 to 7, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 12, and then 3 to 7.
For new coaches,
That's,
if
for all-
anybody
that's for
applies,
any coaches, any coaches.
any coaches, even for the current one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And Laura, as we get more coaches, will that, so if an organization is requesting 20 hours, will the 20 hours be reduced to accommodate other coaches?
Depends on what they request. If they don't conflict, then they can have up to 20. But if 2 coaches want the same time, then it goes down to the allocation process, who receives priority over the other group.
Or, so if let's say there are 4 coaches and each coach is requesting 20 hours, how would the process work then? How many hours, first we gotta figure out how many hours we have
It should,
available.
it's up to no more than 20 hours. It could be less. If 2 coaches come in and they want 20 hours, but they overlap, let's say they both want Saturday from 3 to 4, we then kick into the allocation process. We go through, are you a nonprofit? Are you teaching youth over adults? Are you a legacy organization, or are you a new coach?
So I'm gonna give you an example. So for example, we have total 100 hours a week, and then we have 6 coaches. And in that case, will they get 16 hours each, or 2
Not
organizations?
necessarily, because you might only want to teach 8 to 12, but your another coach might want to teach 1 to 5. They would not overlap. If they requested the same time,
Yeah,
that's when the allocation process would kick in,
okay,
the priority schedule.
right, but I get that part, but my question a little different. My question is that, we only have, in a week, we only have so many hours.
Exactly.
And if we have 7 coaches, And each, will that 100 hours get divvied up between those 7 coaches? Like, so we give,
It's not going to be divvied up. It's going to be based on whatever they requested.
okay,
So they can request up to 20,
Yeah.
and then we look at their schedule. We compare it with all of the other coaches that submit their applications.
right.
And then, we see that 2 or 3 of them want the same time, same day, same time.
Yeah.
Then we go into the allocation process, which is on,
So if somebody's requesting 20 hours, they will get 20 hours.
if that time is open. If the
Yes,
time they
that's-
requested is open,
If it is not open,
then we go in the allocation process. The allocation process outlines who receives priority over the other one.
So it's like you and I both are coaches and we both have 20 hours.
Yeah.
But you want to coach at 3 o'clock and I want to coach at 3 o'clock.
right,
Because you've been coaching longer and have gone through the allocation process, then you would get that 3 o'clock priority. I still have 20 hours. I just have to find where I'm going to use those 20 hours at. So I would have to move mine to probably 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So it's not about
so,
hours, it's about scheduling and time.
so let's see, now you are okay with coaching at 4,
Mhm.
and then the next person comes in, they want to coach also.
Same
So-
thing, same process.
So at
I already
some-
have 4, so you can't have 4. They would have to go to 5 or come earlier in the morning.
So at some point, we'll run out of hours if you have a lot of coaches.
We will, because if we're only limiting coaching to court 3.
Yeah.
During these specific hours, there's only 46 hours in a week.
Yeah, okay, 46 hours in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So then only 6 hours are left. If both 2 organizations, figure out they can work and they both get 20 hours now, there's only 6 hours left for another coach. Is that how it will work?
No. Not, yes and no.
Okay.
I have to receive all of the applications at the same time
Right.
to see if they overlap.
So there is, what I'm trying to get to is like, does everybody get equal amount of time on allocation or not?
They get up to 20. That's it. That's the equality. Everyone will get up to 20. They can request up to 20. If any of them overlap.
Yeah.
Then we determine them based on priority.
So
I
we-
think Vishal question is like, suppose there is 4 coaches and we only have 46 hours, right, in a week. How they gonna divide that? Like if first person got 20, second got 20, and there's 6 hour left for other 2 coaches, right? That's your
Yes,
question?
yeah.
How will that work? Or maybe they're gonna divide it into like 15 hours per coach, something like that.
Right now in this policy, and similar to our athletic field policy, there is an allocation process. The allocation process is based on priority.
No, but like
Your
the two
commission
current-
voted on a priority for athletic fields. If you're a youth, if you're nonprofit, you supersede, you get more priority than an adult, not for-profit
No, we're
organization.
getting all of that, but we
So at
figure
the
out-
end of the day, the group that has the lowest priority may not get all the hours they requested. But the one that got the highest priority, they will get their 20 hours.
Okay, and then the second priority will get their 20 hours now. If they
Yeah,
request
as long
20
as they
hours-
don't overlap with
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah, and now there's only 6 hours left.
Right.
So now we have another 10 coaches, for example.
Right.
So the next priority would get all 6 hours. So then we will only have 3 coaches at the time, and the rest 7 will not get any time to coach.
Yep. So as much as we do want to encourage new coaches in the community and not just have 2, organizations monopolize, we just don't have the amount of courts. If we had more courts, we might be able to assign another court for coaches. You also at your last meeting limited the coaching to 1 to 7
No, so
and 3
that
to
is-
7.
That I'm totally fine with that. But what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if a priority A, if they're requesting 20 hours and we have other 10 coaches, their time, if they're, even if they're requesting 20 hours, their allocation of 20 hours should be reduced so that you could accommodate all 10 coaches.
So eventually, then if we have 10 coaches, then that would mean they would only all get 2 hours apiece. So this community really values the two organizations that we have on the court are highly popular. And this community really values them for very different reasons. They offer different kinds of programs. Do you as a commission then want to penalize those existing legacy organizations that have served the community for a long time, serve a lot of people? Do you want to start limiting their programs?
I have a question. When we can make another changes into this, like motions, like suppose right now we only have 2, like maybe next year we will have 5 coaches. Can we change this like 20 hour to 40 hours for coaching?
Yes. So one of the things, I haven't gotten to that slide yet, but one of the conditions that we want to outline today is that we will give until December of 2024 to review these policies to see if they work or not.
I think by that time we will also have maybe more application for new coaches, right?
Possibly.
If we do, then we can maybe increase the 20 hours to 40 hours. So that way other new
You
coaches
can
can
make
also,
any change you want.
anytime, right?
Yes. So at the end of, so what we're proposing is that by December of 2024, we review these policies again to see if they were working or not. And you can determine if you want to keep the same ones or if you want to change them.
I think, yeah, that should work then by December. And then by that time, we will also know how many new coaches we get. So we can make changes accordingly.
So with this, I understand that we are giving priority to the old programs, but then we're not giving any priority to new programs. So that's why I feel that, if there are other coaches who want to coach, then we should also.
Well, that's by reducing them from 36 hours to 20 hours is a huge reduction.
Yeah, that's
I
correct.
think that's one thing that when we
I think
when we
40
make these decisions,
46 hours of coaching time is plenty for, for everybody in the community.
I think when we make these decisions, we have to really look at the whole picture because we did eliminate all the courts and only allocated one court. So that is going to eliminate some of the options and the times. And I think, that's the decision we made. And so coaching and residents play, gonna have to figure it out, but we're not gonna be able to keep changing things when I think right now, because we only have those 3 courts, there's nothing really we can do. And we just have to stick with the decision that we made for now. And as the park grows and we get more courts, then we can revisit it and see. But right now, you have 2 courts for residents, you have 1 court for coaching.
Yeah, that's fine.
And are we doing anything about their prices? Like, or we cannot change that?
We can. So I did get consultation on that and we can.
I
Because
think-
they're district-sponsored courts, we can put a limit on that. So right now we have it, if you notice on your screen.
$20 per hour, right?
Yes, so you as a commission have to determine.
I
what-
think like residents' main concern was they were charging too much. So that's why they have to go to a different city. I think if they start charging less, then 2 coaches should be enough for 40 hour of coaching. Then we don't even need more coaches, like if they can start charging less.
These aren't district-run programs. These are private groups.
So I think that is a good also, so we can limit the, 20 hours, $20 per hour for lesson.
Are we saying that private coaches can only charge $20 per hour? Is that what you're saying, Laura? Oh, I don't agree with that.
But if they are using like a city's ground, they should not charge $70 or $80.
Right, but I mean, you got to look at, for one, I don't think it's our responsibility to determine somebody's worth. And then also, what quality of coaches are we bringing in to say that you can only charge $20 an hour? So if we have a coach that comes in, that's an excellent coach, that's really going to get our kids to the next level. How can we just say, I want you to give me your best, but you can only charge me $20 for it? I don't think that's, I just don't agree with, telling someone how much their job is worth. If there are all kinds of options and people can have those options, and it's unfortunate that sometimes you might have to go somewhere different to get what you can afford, but to just cap somebody's time and their expertise to $20 because you don't want to pay for their expertise, I don't agree with that. That's just me. You guys can vote on that, but I don't agree with that.
No, it doesn't have to be $20, but I guess maybe less than whatever they are charging now. No, I'm not saying
I
like.
think we heard a lot last time.
Yeah,
Their
like.
rates are very high,
Yeah,
and also they do group lessons. So Commissioner Rona, so if they don't come with one player, they have 2 or 3 players. So they're making 60, 70, $80 per hour.
I
with
agree
those
with
4
it.
students. So as a resident, we should give some benefits to the residents. If they charge $40 an hour with 4 students, 160, that's
no,
very,
they are charging
just-
$80 right now.
Yeah, they charge
$80 per.
very
No, I
expensive.
agree with that. I understand what you're saying. However, I don't really feel, for me, this is just for me, I don't feel like it is my responsibility to tell someone what they're worth. So that would just be like someone coming to your job and telling you what you do is not worth what we're paying you for. So I don't think that that's my responsibility. In my career, there are people that charge more than me. There are people that charge less than me. But I don't think it's someone else's right to tell me my worth. And I don't feel like we have a right to tell people, you know, obviously some people can afford it, some people can't. So I'm just not going to tell you how much money you should be able to make. I'm not going to tell you what your expertise is worth. And if I think that what you bring to the table is going to help get me to the next level that I'm trying to get to, I just don't feel like it's my responsibility to say, oh, I think you make too much money on your job for what you're doing. That's not, I'm not going to do that. So you guys can decide that. But for me, if that person is not good for you, then there is someone else that is, but I'm not going to say you're not worth what you think you're worth.
No, Rona, I agree with you. Like if you work at a private sector, nobody should tell you how much you should charge. But the question was like, first they were using City's Park ground to charge that much, and plus we were not taking any new application for new coaches, so the expense can be controlled. So they were charging whatever, but they know they got like they are the only 2 person in Mountain House, so they were charging whatever they want to.
yeah, they were misusing the monopoly thing, and
And
that is
I
wrong.
mean, I get what you're saying,
Hmm.
but they're not programs run by Mountain House. If it was a Mountain House ran program where it's a rec program, I can understand it. But these are private individuals that's giving private lessons, and that's what they feel like their lessons are worth. I'm
No, that's why we recommend we should take new application. So so residents got more opportunity or more option. Like if anybody charging $40, and they can go to them instead of paying one
Absolutely.
person.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree with you, but our main concern was to take more application, which Laura, she said they are already agree on that.
Yeah,
They would
there,
like- yeah.
anyone
So
that,
there is someone who can only charge like $40 or $30. So people don't have to go to Manteca or any other city.
and that's, I get that. People have the opportunity to become a coach here, you know, and again, we're back to the limited hours, the limited space, and only one court. If there are coaches that come here that charge a little less and they give that person an opportunity to get quality coaching for a lesser price, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But I'm not gonna tell you, you know, if Fasal, he plays tennis all the time, right? So I would want him to coach me. So if he says, Rana, I'm gonna charge you $70 an hour to coach you, but then I come to you who don't play tennis,
So,
right?
Ronald, do
You
you
say,
think,
I'll pay
you think
you
you'll-
$40 to teach you. Well, you're not gonna give me what I need, so I'm gonna pay Vasal the $70. I'm not putting a monopoly on what people can charge,
So
but there are people that could come in
in this case,
lower.
there is a monopoly. There's only two organizations. They're gonna get 20 hours. So they can literally charge whatever. So, and that was one concern we heard from the residents last week. Do you think if we put this commercial use organization in group lessons, can't charge more than $20, you think that'll be fair?
I think one can divide this, Commissioner Vishal, like breaking into, do you have a group? Okay, this rate. If you don't have a group, single, then this rate. That will be making more sense.
Yeah.
But if they charge $80, $60 per hour, no matter how many students, then that's what the public was saying, that's not right.
But that's the thing. We should not be responsible for monitoring someone else's groups, individual prices. Everyone, we have options to bring coaches in here. It's not that people can't come in here and coach. They have a responsibility to come in here and, an
Understand.
opportunity, I'm sorry, to come in here and coach also and charge what they want to charge. But it's up to you whether you're going to pay that or not.
So I think every city has, if you look at that neighboring city, they all have group classes, group rate different.
If they're
than
rec
individual.
programs.
No, I understand, but I think with the limited courts, with limited coaches, what else one can do is indirectly or directly, it comes back to the CSD or, the commission here to fix this so that they don't monopolize. That's what they came last time, and there are one, I think there were 3 residents who talk about that.
Okay, so I think we need to move on, and I think we can do a motion to change that.
To change what?
The way it is written in there.
$20 an hour?
Yeah, to, no cap, or, if you have a different price, you can motion to that as well.
You guys, yeah, you put a motion on.
We'll have to wait till this is over. And then, Laura, just one quick question. So, I thought we were gonna add coaches must be certified, but the certified USPLTA, or the organization that certifies coaches.
Yeah, so it's listed a few times.
Okay, got it.
Throughout the whole document.
All right, sounds good.
But I think we should change the price. We should increase the $20. That's too low. Anyway. But like, if you guys want to do that, we should change the price. Nobody charge $20 per hour to teach the tennis. But at the same time, if we are not gonna do anything about that, we are only giving 46 hours. Again, the monopoly still gonna be there, because both those coaches gonna get 40 hours and new coaches only gonna get 6 hours a week. So it's still gonna be the same, nothing gonna change.
No, because it's a new coach has an opportunity to schedule coaching hours. It's just timing. So if someone already has 12 o'clock, they can coach at 11, they can coach at 1, they have opportunities to coach. How many hours do we have during that day for open play, for coaching?
Monday through Friday, you have from 1 to 7.
So that's 6 hours, right? So are you trying to say that one coaching organization can book up the whole 6 hours for that one day?
It's per day? No, it's not, it's a weekly.
It's right, but it's per day. How many hours per day
So
are
if
they
there is
allowed?
like two coaches, they're gonna get 30 minutes each every day,
30 minutes?
each, yeah, if there is a 6 hour left for a week.
Okay, so that's 12 opportunities.
No.
If they get
can
30
only-
minutes apiece,
Yeah, exactly.
and there's 6 hours.
For
They-
the 6 hour for whole week, right?
6
Left.
hours per weekday. It's 46 hours per
Per
week
week.
is
So,
available for coaching in general.
yeah, for the whole week, right?
Yes.
So right now they are getting 36 hours, right? Each.
46.
No, 36. Right now they are getting 36. And right now they will be like limited to 20 hours, right? Do you think they're gonna leave any hours behind? They're definitely gonna get their 20 hours if they know they can get 20 hours each.
Okay, so if they
Microphone.
if they get 20 hours, right? So that's like, if they coach 6 hours on Monday, 6 hours on Tuesdays, that's 12 hours gone already. 6 hours on Wednesday, that's 18 hours gone. That only leaves them 2 more hours, right? You still have Thursday, you still have Friday, you still have, you have
No.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you still have, it's not like they could have a monopoly with all of the hours when there's only 20 hours available.
No, if
Those run out quick.
So
so there's a total, Laura, there is total 46 hour, right? For the coaching.
We have 46 hours available.
For-
Coaches can rent up to from 1 hour to 20 hours. If they request the same time as another coach, then we go into an allocation process.
Yeah.
If they don't conflict with another coach's application, they can get all of their 20 hours.
So, okay, so suppose like Rona said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So two coaches got their 40 hours, right?
Mhm.
There's only 6 hours left, right? For a week.
Correct.
Yeah, 6 hours.
But it
left
may
for a week.
not be, that's assuming that they both took different hours.
No, like right now they are getting 36 hours each, right? But now we are limited to them for only 20 hours. There is no way they're gonna spare any hour. They definitely
No,
gonna take 20
they'll
hours.
want, yes, they will want their full 20
Full
hours.
20 hours, 20 hours,
And they
right?
will get
So
their
40 hours
20
gone.
hours if they don't conflict with anybody else that requests the same day and time.
But still, if there is any conflict with the time, they're gonna get those hours, not the new coaches, right? Because they are here from a long time.
If a new coach comes in and they want the same hours as a current coach,
Yeah, so the current coach will get those hours.
exactly.
So means new coaches will only get 6 hours.
No, it means new coaches will get whatever hours are available.
No,
So-
like suppose if new coaches get 10 hours, they will be left with the 18 hour each, right? The old coaches.
We cannot say for sure until we get the applications in.
No, but if somebody's getting 36 hour, definitely they will
We
want
can
20
only
hours.
know for sure when we get the applications in. For all we know, right now at this moment, there may only be 2 coaches in town that want to book courts. If it gets to the point where I get 3, 4, 5 coaches, staff will take all of their applications at the same time and view them equally. Then we will give them the courts that they want. And then if any of them conflict, then we go into who has priority over the other one, regardless.
one comment on Commissioner Maninder. So I think I got your point. So total 46 hours we have for the
Mhm.
training. 2 coaches which are in the league already, let's say they get their 20 hours, whatever with, after they settle whatever overlapping, and they say, it leaves 6 hours for the third coach only. That's it. So the question is that enough? How we are, yes, we want more coaches, but we're only leaving 6 hours only for the third coach. The question is, can we reduce 20 to 18, 16, so that the other coaches also get some time? Because that's what will reduce the monopoly.
So that's where you as a commission have to determine, do you value these legacy organizations that have built up their reputation, that have served the tennis players of Mountain House for 10, 15, 20 years? Do you want to start limiting their program?
No, it's not about that.
Not
The only
limiting it.
problem
It
is the
would be,
cost.
it
The
would be
cost
if,
of the hourly rates. That's the only concern. If they start charging less, I don't think so. People would go somewhere else. They will just go to them, right? But residents don't want to pay $70 or $80 per hour.
So why don't we just release another one of the tennis courts and make it open for old and new coaches?
Yeah, that can be done too. So that way they will get their 20 hour, and new coaches will also get a opportunity.
We can do that.
Yeah. Instead of reducing their hours, since they have been here from long time.
so the commission also previously proposed limiting coaching hours from 1 to 7, Monday through Friday. And, but for example, most of the coaching on the weekend or on the weekdays are for children, majority of them. So most of them are between 4 and 9. So right now, we're already taking away the coaching hours of 7 to 9. We're taking that away. On the weekends, majority of the coaching is from 12 to 7. But now we're limiting it to only 3 to 7. So we're taking 3 hours away from them.
From the coaches, right?
Mhm.
From the kids.
We're
Yeah, that's
taking it
what we
from
are
the
saying. We
kids.
should like give them one more court if we and increase 46 hour to 60 hours and limited 20 hours per coach. So that way, if there is new coaches, at least they will get 20 hours.
No, but the problem is that right now also the coaching is monopolizing the courts and nobody else gets to play.
No, that's why we are limiting to 20 hours, right?
Right,
No,
but
no.
realistically, the groups will only be able to be out there from 4 to 7. So they're not going to use the 1 to 7. They're only going to use 4 to 7.
We should just go with whatever, like the kids can get benefit of that or residents can get benefit from it. Not just like look people who are just playing leagues,
Mhm.
they are already playing every day. So we should give the opportunity to new kids.
Keep in mind that on court 2, every night from 4 to 10, no, I'm sorry, from 6 to 10 is a league. That's also taking up court time.
Yeah, reduce their hours instead of reducing kids opportunities. Can we do that?
That's it. That's up to you if you want to move coaching to courts 2 and 3. I'm just saying that it,
So yeah, there is about 300 people who play in that league. So there's a lot of people, residents playing in that league as well.
But kids also residents of Mountain House.
But kids are getting coaching from every day.
The people are also playing 5 days a week.
so one of the biggest comments from the public is they don't have enough time to play on the courts.
Exactly. They said you don't
There are
have too much
There are
commercialization.
2 reasons why courts are taken up.
Yeah.
One is the coaching and number 2 is leagues. This commission has not really addressed the league play. So that really only leaves court 1 open for public play.
So right now public doesn't have any court,
They have 1 court.
just one court.
Now, coaching doesn't happen every day.
Mm-hmm.
It only happens a few days of the week.
Okay, so they are using the same court like what coaches are using right now for the public use.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So how many court public gets? 1 court or 2
It
court?
varies from day to day. But if we were to go off this model, court
Uh-huh.
1 would be dedicated to the public. Court 2 would be dedicated to the league and court 3 would be dedicated to the coaches. Now we're limiting the public.
And I
Yeah.
think it's good for public because we heard a lot of comments, public usage. And I think it's in your presentation also, right, Laura? You shared also.
So it sounds like We should leave it how it is. Leave the coaching on court 3 with the allotted hours that we decided on last time. And my only issue with this is the cap on coaching. So I think it's what we decided on last time would be the best for everybody possible. I thought our decision was a good decision. The only thing different now than what we discussed before was the cap on coaching. So I think that's probably what we should decide on, because realistically, what we set in place was good. And I don't care how many times we overturn it, we're not going to be able to please everybody with 3 courts. So I think the way that we have it it's not going to fully satisfy everybody, but I feel like it's the best decision that we can make at the time with the limited amount of courts. So, I think the motion, or I don't even know if it's a motion at this point yet, but I think the discussion was whether or not we should put a cap on what coaches could charge for private lessons. And we are talking about coaches that have to go through certifications. These aren't just, because I know how to play tennis, but these are people that have gotten licenses and certifications, and that this is what they do. So, I mean, I feel like we have really good quality organizations here and coaches. And so that's my 2 cents in it. I don't think that's our decision to make.
So, yeah, I would agree, $20 for tennis is pretty inexpensive, so maybe we can change that to a higher, because there were a lot of comments from public that, the coaching is very expensive. So we can,
So this, I might add that this statement here, this last statement that I've highlighted here, was just added by staff based on public comment. So if you notice, I put in the notes here, you can determine that, I just threw in $20 per hour. You can determine what that would be, what that cap number would be. But you may want to ask yourself, is that for youth programs or adult programs, private or group? Private lessons people pay more, adult lessons people pay more. So if you as a commission wanted to determine what an instructor pays,
yeah, and most of the coaching that's happening here is for kids ranging from, age 6 onwards, maybe up to 12. So it is for, a lot of this coaching is for kids. And so definitely $20 too little, but $80 might be too high also. So we can come up.
Right.
Yeah.
are you the experts in determining how much it costs?
No, we are not. And
I don't think that
cap-
should be our determination.
Yeah.
I know I didn't do tennis, but, spent a lot of money on football and basketball and, special coaching to get the kids better. And you find what works for you. So
yeah.
it's not our.
No, so, Ms. Green, let me explain. So what's happening here is not that, it's for young kids, getting them to hold a racket, how to hit a ball at that level. So once they need to get to the next level, that is the coaching we have here. So this is, then they have to go to a specialized academy to get that kind of coaching if they want to go to the next level. So,
I mean, we've spent a lot of money with our kids playing sports and stuff like that. And I'm not saying what level of coaching is here or not. I don't know. I just know that I just don't feel like we
need to
have
be
that.
dictating.
We
Okay, so
should
we can-
determine what someone else's worth is. So, you know what I mean? If
But there were a lot of comments from public that they feel that there might be some sort of gouging, not, I wouldn't say gouging is the right word,
Well,
but
there also was a coach here last time too that, disagreed with the couple that said, the coaching here was too expensive and they didn't want to continue driving to Manteca to get a lower rate. But there was a coach that came in after that who, that's what he charged.
so I'm not sure, Laura, can this be just removed or we have to make a motion to remove it and vote on it? Or the rate, and honestly, I don't think so we can figure out what the correct rate is, so we can,
Then you'd have to make a motion to remove that statement.
okay.
Maybe change it to $50 or something. I don't know.
May I offer another suggestion here? In our last meeting, there was also another coach who offers free coaching. As opposed to trying to determine somebody's worth, I agree with my screen, it goes against the spirit of our country's founding. And I think it might be challenged in court, the council can correct me if I'm wrong. I think maybe we can incentivize group lessons and people who don't charge anything. What is in our control, which is the time on the court, as opposed to deciding somebody's worth.
So
That's
we
another way
can,
to.
I think we as a commission can determine what quality we want on our coaches. They all have to be certified from 2 organizations, within the last year. But can you really determine the value of a coach? So I've gotten quite a number of comments and a survey back from one of our organizations, from their members, stating how much they appreciate their current coach, how they've been with this particular coach for years and years. They've been able to move on to play college and high school and college. So obviously the value is really high and they were willing to pay that amount for him to coach.
So if we break them down to, Commissioner Raj said the same point I was trying to bring earlier, Laura, that to group, if you have a group lesson, okay, so maybe 25 per person, so group of 4, they make $100 an hour. If you are not a group, then yes, increase from 20 to maybe 35 or whatever, 40 per person. I'm just saying, throwing some ideas. I'm not coming to the dollar amount, but more like if you have a group, they do have groups. And I think they make more than $100 in 1 hour. So if we just give them free hand, then that's what the people were complaining last time.
And the groups I've seen are as big as 10 kids or
Yes.
sometimes more also.
In tennis, group works very well.
I'm sorry, I just wanted you to be able to see that his hand was raised when that time comes.
There was a time for you to speak. I think we need to move on from this because I think we've spent enough time and we can have a motion to see if we can adjust that.
Okay. Private lessons. Do we want to allow private lessons? And if so, do you want to restrict their hours per week?
Yeah, so private lesson will be one-on-one lesson. That will be the definition of private lesson.
A one-on-one lesson, yeah. So what we were finding is a lot of people were renting the courts and having private lessons on our tennis courts.
Yes, and I think we should limit that as well. And maybe even,
So we added this right here to 5 hours per week.
yeah, that sounds fine to me.
And again, we're telling them that they can't charge a certain dollar amount.
We just move that line $20 per hour, just limited to 5 hours per week.
Yeah, and then, again, $20 might be too little for tennis lesson for,
That's the same comment and questions we had for the
Yeah,
previous
let's
one.
move to the next one.
Again, just a reminder that leagues they're relegated to court too. Do you want to put a cap on league fees? Again, you're mandating what
I,
groups are charging.
for league play, I absolutely, that is very generous for the cap, so I think that's fine.
No. If there should be any like cap or like cap $50?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. No.
Perhaps the commission should just agree on either a cap or no cap at all. And that would be just across the board.
Yes, we should do that.
All right. So again, just the nonprofit verification is just in order to receive the discount. So what we're going to do from now on is we're posting the schedules on Thursday afternoons for all the rentals Friday through the following Thursday. Because a lot of people weren't sure if it was open for incidental use, for first come, first serve use, or they wanted to see who the coach was out on the courts. And I'll show you an example here on the next page, and I'll go back. I know it's hard to read, but this would be a weekly schedule that would be posted at the courts. I zoomed in on one, for example. This is what it would look like. So it would list the dates of the week, then the particular day. It would show which court it's on, and then it would show you everyone who's reserved it. So they'd be identified by their rental time, the day, and the person who reserved the courts. And then occasionally we'll see, a Donald Duck show up. That would then be questionable, and staff and the public would be able to notify me as the manager and say this isn't right. Hopefully, before it gets to this point, we've already contacted Donald Duck. We've canceled their reservation because based on our new policy, we said you can't have an alias. It would also identify the coach and the organization they're a part of. So you would know exactly who's on those courts at any given time. So anyway, we hope that this communication tool will allow the public to really know who's on their courts and when they're open and available. So I'm just going to back up. Any questions about that? Okay, and then again, the cancellation, we put in this here about unauthorized users. That was also a big comment, was that there are people that are out on the courts when they shouldn't be. So unauthorized users who reserve the courts for personal use, but then use it for commercial use, will have to have all future reservations canceled and will be suspended for 30 days. Unfortunately, again, like we said before, we don't have the staff or the resources to manage it all the time, so it may be difficult. We are relying on the public to notify us. And that concludes all of the changes we made based on the public comments from the last meeting. So I think some takeaways here is we're going to go, we can determine today if you want to change the times the rentals, the renter can rent the court. If you want to change it from 2 to 5, you can approve that tonight. I think there's some confusion and some comments about limiting coaches to 20 hours per week and what that really looks like. And then it sounds like, do we want to be be an organization that limits how much a coach can charge on our courts?
So how do we go about some of the confusion we have on, between 2 and 5 times reservation? Is that something you can take a look?
So at the last meeting,
Yeah.
if it was mentioned or not, nobody voted on it. So
Right.
you have the opportunity now to vote. You can keep it as 2 as
Yeah.
presented.
Yeah.
Or you can vote on 5, or maybe somebody wants to do 7, or maybe someone wants to do once. So you would make it to amend the policy as
Yeah.
written.
Okay, are there any public comments about tennis court policies? You, you you can
I can use that microphone right there.
have a seat. Tim.
I'm sorry.
We can't hear on Zoom.
Sorry. You're talking about very limited resource, so we have only 3 courts, and at the same time you
Put
try.
the mic closer to your mouth. Put the mic, talk closer into
Yeah.
the mic.
You're talking about very, very limited resource. We have only 3 courts, and at the same time, we have a very big amount of different interest group, and different people would like different. Somebody would like to have best coach, somebody would like to have a little bit cheaper coach, somebody would like to have leagues and something else. At the same time, you're talking about preferences for legacy groups and organization, and it's definitely we need to preserve a legacy. But at the same time, people complain about creating with it a monopoly and extending a cost of using course here. Probably we should limit up not to $20 definitely, but up to some reasonable level, only the cost only for those who would like to still be prioritized as a legacy organization. So for legacy organization, if they would like to use a court and they have a preferences over everybody else, in that case, the cost of training there would be limited up to some level. Because yes, it was correctly, if people would like to use very, very high level coaches, probably they could found some different place, and Mountain House right now could not afford it just because we have a very, very limited amount of courts. Thank you. That's for my suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Would you mind repeating your name for the record?
Igor Kiselyov.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. So, sorry.
You'd ask for a motion.
Yeah. So is there a motion to approve the draft and
Excuse me, Chair. May I recommend we close the public comment?
okay, if there are no other public comments, public input is closed. And is there a motion to approve the draft and for Mountain House tennis court rental policies and recommend to the board for adoption?
I think we need to change those hourly fees first. Because
You need to make a motion and give the specifics that you want to change in your motion.
So
I would like to make a motion to change, if we want to change the fees, change it to at least like $50. But I think $20 is too less, even if we want to put any cap on it. That's my recommendation.
is there a second to Commissioner Maninder Singh's motion to?
It's my recommendation, not, it's not a motion I would like to make. Like, like we all know that $20 is too less, right? So even if we wanna approve this today, nobody gonna say yes on that. And but if I think we should change that to $50 if we want to, or just remove that line.
It has to be motion.
The same time, residents are complaining about high prices, so
I think Mr. Igor's suggestion was should be evaluated. It is also in line of incentivizing something in a way of, the legacy organizations. What he suggested is that you limit them, because right now they are the ones hogging up the resources. Limit them to some, not $20, he said, and I agree with that, some other amount for the privilege of having priority, right? This is also some sort of an incentive. That's one way to do this.
Would you like to make a motion for that?
Let me,
I don't know, Laura, were we supposed to comment on the public comment at this particular time? I thought,
Comment.
are we allowed to comment or discuss the public comment at this particular time? I thought we hear it and then let him know at a future date what the decision was that we made. I didn't know if we can comment on his public comment.
I don't believe he was asking a question. I think he was providing his comment, which might help you make your decision in what motion you want to make.
But to answer, yes, if it's a agenda item, we can comment. If it's an agenda item, Rana, we can comment, you guys can comment. If it's a public comment in the beginning, then yes, you don't have to comment. That's the difference.
Okay, I
Agenda item.
wasn't sure if we were able to, because in a regular CSD meeting, public comments, you can't respond to. So I didn't want you to think that we were just sitting here ignoring you,
Yeah.
but I wanted to make sure that we were following procedure by
Yep.
I don't know
commenting
that
or
you're
not commenting.
you're not responding to him or commenting on his comment. I think Commissioner Singh was just referencing it in his.
correct.
yeah, I think Mr. Raj said what we were already discussing, not on that gentleman comments.
Do we want to put if it's a group lesson, then this rate cap on that? Or, I mean, if it is not group, then this cap? Giving a cap is maybe better than fixing a rate, right?
So I think one of the commissioners will have to make a motion to whatever changes they would like to see. So I think
So to incentivize legacy organizations to reduce their fees, I don't even know what their fees are. Do we even know what their fees are for coaching?
We do.
So to incentivize them to reduce their fees to get priority time, more priority time on tennis courts.
Then we're-
That's what you're saying. So what we would have to do is to talk to the organization to see if that would even be something that they would consider. So that would still not be a decision that we would be able to make tonight, right?
You would put that in your court allocation process on page 11 and 12 in your packet. You could put that in.
So at this point, we have 2 legacy organizations, right?
Yes,
And they are the only 2 that are actually doing coaching.
that we know of, yes.
So we're back to, we can revisit that again at a later date when the other tennis courts open. Our biggest issue right now with anything we do is that we have 3 courts. And, you know, private, public, and league all want to play tennis. So we still have to make the best decisions for everybody at this point. So I think, well, I'm going to make a motion to adopt the policies that we have right now and to remove the amount and to put no cap for right now, because we're going to have to revisit this again.
Yeah, again, we can amend policies at any time. We can, so would you want to make a motion to remove all caps or just,
My motion is to remove all caps because, I mean, if we don't make a motion to remove all caps, then we're going to have to sit here and decide who's going to pay what and what it is that they're going to have to pay at this time. So I think my motion is to adopt the policies and that's set now and to remove the cap. So I don't think right now is a good time for us to determine without full disclosure and information, you know, what's proper and what's not. So that's my motion.
so can you say that you want to remove, so you'll have to make a motion just to remove the cap.
I make a motion to remove the cap. I make a motion to remove the line that has the just fictitious price there and to just put no cap. So did I say that right?
It's just maybe something to the effect of remove the requirement.
The line, Laura, yeah, this one right here where it says commercial use organizations may not charge participants more than $20 an hour. I make a motion to remove that line.
Commissioner Green is making a motion to remove a commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $20 per hour for lessons. Is there a second to that?
As a point of order, may I consult with our district attorney real quickly? So Camilla, if nobody seconds it, somebody makes a motion to do something else, how do they make that motion?
Okay, so this motion failed, so we would make a new motion.
Okay,
So is it just the motion to remove commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $20 per hour for lessons failed due to lack of second?
is that correct, Camilla? Or it
Sorry,
just,
could you repeat that, Chair? You were repeating what Commissioner Green, what her motion was?
Yes, and then I said it failed due to there was no second to
Correct.
the motion.
That's correct. So we need a new motion.
So unfortunately that motion failed, but you can make another motion to set the price to a different level.
I would like to make a motion for commercial use organization may not charge a participant more than $45 per hour for lesson or more than 50 per person per month for league play.
Commissioner Maninder Singh made a motion that commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $45 per hour for lessons or more than $50
Per person,
Per
per
month.
league, for the league play.
Is there a second to Commissioner Maninder Singh's motion? There is no second to Commissioner Maninder Singh's motion to commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $45 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month. Fails.
So do we gonna leave it like that then?
Uh,
That's too
I,
low.
I would
Nobody
like
gonna
to
come
make
to
a
pay
new
for
motion,
$20
Chair. if
per
you-
hour.
One option is that we.
I
if
would
we-
like to make a new motion, Mr. Chair, if you are okay with that.
Please, Commissioner Watson.
I would like to make a motion on item 5B to remove language that limits lessons fees for $20 on page 11, delete it, and insert instead that legacy organizations who have priority rights should charge no more than $50 for group lessons.
So you meant
Per hour,
$50 instead of $45?
per hour?
Slightly different language, but yes.
Like means instead of $50, right?
Yes, for group lessons.
I second.
Okay, the Commissioner Maninder Singh seconded the motion. So the motion passes.
You have to
There
take
needs to be
a
a
vote.
vote.
sorry.
Vote.
To delete the line on page 9 to change it to $50 per hour for group lessons.
That's
So-
not the motion.
I think he said not more than 50. That's different than $50 an hour, right? You said not more than 50.
Let me repeat, yes.
And the motion is for just legacy, that legacy.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you
Well, I can repeat it again.
write it down? It's very long.
That's gonna take
I'll
me
try to
longer.
write it down.
Okay. So delete on approve item 5B with the deletion of language on page 11 that limits fees to $20 and with the insertion of language that legacy organizations which receive priority rights would limit their fees for group lessons to no more than $50. Sorry, page 9, sorry,
Per hour, correct?
correct, per hour, yes.
And Commissioner Singh to otherwise approve the tennis court rental policy and recommend to the board for adoption, correct?
Correct.
And Camilla, if I may, before
Yes.
they make a vote, if they want to make any more changes, is this the time to do it?
That's correct. Well,
And it-
so there would have to be a new motion, right? If there were other changes to make in addition to what Commissioner Steen just recommended, that would be a new motion.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we need to vote, right?
We need a second.
I second.
Okay.
Commissioner Maninder Singh seconds, seconds a motion to insert the language on page 9 stating that legacy commercial users will charge no more than $50 per hour for coaching.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? So with that language, that means that our legacy
Cannot charge.
coaches that's been coaching here forever cannot charge any more than $50 per hour. However, any other coaching that's not a legacy coach
Hmm.
can charge what they want to charge.
Yeah, we need to.
That
insert
doesn't make,
line.
come on,
Yeah, we
doesn't
need
make
to
sense.
add that as
We
well.
should limit
Nobody
other
should
coaches too.
charge.
Other coaches too.
Yeah, everybody.
We really need
Camilla, do they
we
need to
really need
vote?
to pay
They need to-
attention and
yeah,
think
let's-
about it.
Before we open more discussion, we would need to vote on this, or this motion would need to be withdrawn.
I think Mr. I need to make it again, saying legacy and all other cannot charge more than 50.
Commissioner Raj Singh made the motion.
Yeah, that's what.
You need to withdraw your motion and then
Make a new one.
write it down so you don't forget.
I think I'll just withdraw my motion at this time.
So just one thing, if you put group lesson, then $45. If not group, then maybe.
Raj, I don't, Mr. Sorry, Mr. Sharma. I think we already discussed that we should not go back and forth for per lesson or group. It's gonna be more complicated. We are still stuck on $50 per hour.
So no, and the reason I'm bringing it because when they register, they tell how many students or players will be playing, right? Laura? When they register,
I
I'm
I
sorry.
think that's gonna be too much cap.
when their coaches register, how many players they will
roster?
be coaching? Do they mention how many?
They do. They give me the maximum capacity and the minimum, and they tell me how much they charge for their lessons.
Yeah, so-
Lessons are generally a month long, so there's 4 lessons. So if you're, like, for example, if you want to put a cap at 50, that means they can charge no more than $200 a month for lessons. I can tell you right now that I don't know that any of the coaches charge 200 a month for lessons.
How much they charge? Any idea?
I can't say for sure. I don't have it.
Ah,
Amy.
okay.
So
No,
the-
like if there is a 4 children in one group in per class, if there's a 4 means they will be charging $200 per hour, right? If they charge $50 from each. Correct?
If your motion is to charge no more than $50 per hour, that means that they can't charge more than
For
200
the
a
whole
month
group
per person.
per person. Yeah, so if there is a 4 person like in one group, right?
So if
So that
there's
means
5 in it, they would make $1,000 for a month lesson program.
No, so the lesson is like it's hourly, right?
No, it's monthly.
No, but it says like not more than $50. So suppose
Per
there is a 4
hour.
kids, yeah. So if there is a 4 kids in one lesson, one group, right? He's teaching like 4 kids at the same time, right? That means he's making $200 per hour, correct?
Correct.
But most of the time, when someone is teaching a group as opposed to an individual, the price is always different.
Oh,
So let's say that that person charges $80 an hour for an individual lesson.
so that's
They
one on one.
probably would charge that $80 for 4 kids so that each person would be $20. It doesn't go,
Oh, okay.
you see what I'm saying? It's like, we're
So, Laura,
looking at like,
Is
he's making $200 an hour. No, usually group lessons are far less expensive than individual private
is that
lessons.
true, Laura?
Yes, that's so true for any sport, really.
So that means
You're-
no one is making $200 per hour, right?
Well, we don't know, right?
It's not about what the instructor's making, it's what we want the students to be charged.
No, I know that, but are they making $200 per hour right now?
It depends on what they're charging their participants.
No, but
I-
you're saying,
Right, most of the time, it's more cost effective if you do a group lesson. Private lessons in any sport are always more expensive than group lessons. So if you're looking at someone is charging $70 an hour for an individual individual lesson, one person, they're making $70 an hour. If they're charging 4 people,
$70 per hour.
it's split up. They're still only making $70 an hour, or maybe they'll make a little bit more if they do a group lesson because they might have 4 kids
It's
at
not like that.
$20 a piece.
No, Rona,
No.
it's not like that.
Yes, group
No.
lessons.
No,
No,
they are charging us.
I'm not saying how much they charge. I'm just using that as an example.
No.
the
So-
way it works right now, I can tell you right now. An instructor has 5 to 6 students. They're all charged the same amount. It's typically a monthly fee. It works out to be, if you want to do the math per person, it works out to be about $20, $40 per hour for the student, not the instructor. So it depends. If the instructor has a lot of students, they're going to make a lot per hour. And if they only have a couple, they'll only make a small amount per hour.
So E is costing student like $20 per hour, something around that, $20, $30?
That's actually pretty low. I think the average class is probably between $80 and $120 for 4-hour lessons.
For 4-hour lesson, they're only charging 120. That's the average, right?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, so
No,
I can't tell you for sure. I'm giving you an example.
It's not,
Per month.
no, so 120 per kids or for the all 4 of,
Yes, per student.
for 1 hour?
Yes. So you as a commission have to determine how much do you want the per student to pay out of their pocket? You're not telling the instructor how much they're making. You're telling them how much we want the per student to pay out of their pocket.
So
for a
is it like
lesson.
really one student is paying $80 per hour? Is that true?
But what she's saying is that they pay monthly. So if a student pays $200 a month
Mhm.
and they have 4 lessons in that month, then they're paying $50 per lesson. If a student pays $120 a month and they go 4 times that month, their lesson is $30 for that hour. So it's not hourly, it's broken up monthly, whatever they pay monthly. You see what I'm saying? So if you go 4 times a month and you pay $120 a month, if you break that down, it means you're paying $30 per class
So they're only paying 120 or 140
a
Per
month.
Per
for
month.
1 kids?
Yeah.
That's cheap. I thought like they are charging $80 per person. If there is a 4 person, he's charging $80 for 1 hour, means he's making 240
No.
hour. That's not true? Then we should remove this line. I would like to.
You want to just leave it there because that.
No, we should remove it then if he's not charging, like, if he's not making $240 per hour, then we should remove it.
No, but he has.
So
one-
I
he has
think
5 kids in his class. So he's
He
making-
has 5 kids, so he's making $100 an hour, Commissioner Maninder, right? In 1 hour, he's making 100. So let's say he has 5 kids
But he
with
teaching five
$20
kids
per
at a-
hour,
But he-
$100 an
But
hour.
he's teaching 5 kids at the same time, right?
So that's fine. Group's supposed to be lower. That's,
It is,
Univer-
Sanjay, the group is lower. You're looking at what the coach is making.
No, no.
So if the coach is, if each kid is paying $40 for that hour, yes, that coach is making $120. However, that kid is not paying $120. They're paying 40.
Right.
So what was, my motion, I'm going to make a motion again. My motion is to adopt the policy as it is with removing the line that says commercial, what's the line say?
Commercial use organizations may not charge participants more than $20 per hour for lessons or more than 50 per person per month for league play.
My motion is that we remove that line out of our policy.
I'm
Com-
okay.
Commissioner Green motions to remove commercial use organization may not charge participation more than $20 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month for league play. And Commissioner Merinder Singh seconds it.
No, I have not said second.
Oh.
I'm still confused at that $80 per hour thing. I was doing multiply. I think they are making $20,000 a month. If that is not true, then
May I?
yeah, sure, please.
I don't believe the public comment was geared more towards the instructor. Yes, they think the instructors make a lot of money. It's geared more towards what they are paying per hour. They want to receive a higher value at a lower cost.
Okay.
So do we want to tell the instructor, we want you to lower your costs because these participants think they're paying too much?
That is true. That's what we heard last time.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone said the same thing. The cost is very high.
No, like if they are, if one parent's only gonna pay like 120 for their kids for a whole month, that's not a lot. That's very cheap. I'm not sure if that is true or not. If it's like, Laura, maybe you can help me with that. Is that up?
Sorry, I can't find any details. If you want to give me a second, I can try to find it. You have to be on your mic. No comment between you.
And the other thing, keep in mind, they do 3 or 4 classes a day. So now they have, even if they do, so they have 12 kids in that time period. And so whatever the hourly is time. That, yeah.
And again, I want to reiterate what Laura just said. We are talking about the amount that the participant pays, not what the coaches make. That shouldn't be our determination. But what we're saying is that the participant, whether it's in a group or a private, what they pay per month, $140, $200, it still makes the class be between $30 and $50 per month. Some might charge a little bit more, but is it up to us to determine the value of the coaching? Or are we saying we can probably get coaches that could charge a little bit less, but is the value of the coaching important? Or are we just trying to, it's like, the difference between,
So Commissioner Green, so I think this is exactly what this line is trying to address, is that we're not trying to limit how much coaches can make. What we're trying to limit is that the residents are not paying a lot of money for getting coaching. So I think
it's about a value. It's about a value. So do we want to say that what you bring is not valuable? So if you are I think that the value of the coaching and the comments of the people that have used these coaches for years speaks to what they bring to our kids here in Mountain House. It's not about how much they're making, but how much they're paying.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious that everybody made the same comment that we are paying too much. And then that's why there was the other coach who said, I'm doing it for free because everybody's paying too much.
And that's perfect for that coach. I commend that coach for coaching for free.
But again,
I do.
Going back to that, everybody said that they're paying too much for the coaching.
Well, I don't necessarily know if it was everybody, but I do think that
At least all the
it's
people.
options. It's options. That's the thing. Do we take away those options for coaches? They don't have to use them. That's the whole thing about it, is that they don't have to use them. So are we going to tell somebody that they can't or they're not valued for what they bring, their certifications. I mean, we're not talking about anybody walking off the street, but are we telling them as a commission that they're not valuable to us? It's not that they don't
We are-
have
how,
to.
How are we telling them we don't value them? All we're listening to is the public who was here, all the participants, that the coaching is very expensive.
Because it's not like they don't have options, but their options might not be convenient for them, but they do have options. So are we bringing options? And again, we're talking about 2 organizations right now. We don't even have other people right now that can coach, that are applying to coach,
No,
because we don't have the opportunity.
No, there are a lot of people who are applying to coach. But we don't have, because all the coaching is monopolized by 2 organizations. So maybe if this might give opportunity for others to get in, because these coaches might feel that they are not valued and they can take their skills somewhere else to coach. Have you ever?
If they follow the requirements that we require for them to coach here, then I don't see why they won't be able to coach. But
Charge whatever, and make it not accessible for every resident of Mountain House. Maybe,
okay, I mean,
May I-
we
if I
keep
may,
going
Tony,
over and over, so I just
I
think
think
that
There
the-
was, there
we
is
need to make
another,
this-
there
need
there
to
is a
make a
premise to the public's comment here. The reason they made this comment or have issues with charges is that these are public courts. The coaches are not necessarily paying a whole lot of renting fees here. And some of these organizations also get priority. So they have double benefit. Because we are allowing priority, I think we are in the right to regulate that, incentivize that priority with something to balance. It's a balancing act. I agree with you. We don't have the right to control, put a cap on somebody's earnings, but we can incentivize definitely lower cost for the residents. That was my motion.
I agree, but what would be I'm coming back. What would be the incentive? So we need to, if we're going to give incentives to Legacy, or if we're going to ask them to lower their costs to give them priority, right? Then now we're back to the same thing. What about the ones that aren't Legacy coaches? How are we? When we go into that, it just brings more and more decisions that we need to make. So either we're going to review this now, or we can review it and look into all these different things that have been brought up in the future, because we are getting more courts. So I don't see how we're going to, and it's not just me, it's all of us as a board. I just don't see how we're going to regulate this right now with our limitations. We have 3 courts. Only one court is for lessons. 1 court's for league. 1 court is for public use. I would feel different about it if it was a league or something that's sponsored by Mountain House, CSD, or Parks and Rec. Then absolutely, that would give them other options. But right now, we don't really have those other options. And what incentives can we come up with for these legacy groups to charge less, give them more hours than they have?
No, they already have an incentive.
Exactly.
The policy allows them to have priority.
Right.
What I am saying is, let's not give that priority for free. It comes with a price.
So I know we did raise their fees last time, what they paid for court rentals. Didn't we raise the court rental fees? We didn't? I
No.
thought that we discussed that.
No, those will be brought back when we bring all of the fees.
Okay. So, maybe when they bring those back, we can discuss raising fees. I don't know, you guys, it's 10 o'clock.
We need to make a motion and, because we have made motions and, we keep having discussions, so please make a motion, of what you'd like to see. And then we can move on.
Well, I think we all have so many different ideas,
So I
so
just want to
it has to be
quickly comment
discussion.
that the value, yes, the value is there of a good coach, but the value doesn't go down if we set some rate to set up. For example, I'm just giving quick analogy that one of the mathematician tutor charges $60, $70 an hour. When she does group lesson, same PhD math tutor charges $20, $25 an hour for group lesson. That doesn't mean the value of that teacher goes down, no. And think about this, the same coach might be charging $100 an hour, so overvaluing himself. So that value thing is fine. He still has the priority if someone else. So reducing the rate per hour for student is what I think we heard last time. So that's good too, nothing wrong in that, putting that cap on that.
Even
I'm
more.
sorry, we can't have any more public comment. You have one.
I think that's the same thing that we just discussed about the difference in group lessons and private lessons. So what the analogy you just gave is the same analogy for group or private. So I think we should just move on and make a decision.
Yes, so anybody gonna make a motion on this?
Was my motion still on the table?
To
Your
remove it?
motion is still on the floor, Commissioner Green.
My motion was to adopt the policies that we have now for the tennis court, but remove the commercial use organization line out of the policy.
Is there a second to, Commissioner Green's motion to, adopt the policies the way it is, but remove the commercial use organization may not charge participation more than $20 line from this policy?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pfister seconds the motion to approve the final draft of tennis court rental policies and remove the commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $20 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month. So I think, yeah. Can I motion anything?
You want to add to it? I believe that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Camilla.
Oh, yeah, well, the motion could be amended, or we could have multiple motions on the floor.
The chair is asking if he can make a motion or should he amend the motion? Can he do that?
Yes,
Okay.
either.
I would like to amend the motion also adopted the way it is written and by amending 2 times per times for 1 hour to 5 times for 1 hour per week. And removing the commercial use organization may not charge participation more than $50. Is there a second to that?
Oh, wait, Camilla, we'll need your help on this one.
No
So
second?
the amendment failed.
Okay,
So does it then revert back to the first motion that they made?
yes, that's fine. So Chair, I would go ahead and repeat Commissioner Green's original motion.
Commissioner Green motions to approve the tennis rental policies as written but by removing commercial use organization may not charge participation more than $20 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month. Is there a second?
Commissioner Pfister already seconded.
I think now we need to vote on this one, right? Correct. Before you make
Commissioner,
it.
Commissioner, do you second again?
Yeah, a second again.
Okay, let's vote. Or there could be discussion. Excuse me.
So is there a discussion or vote now? Or-
You open it up for discussion, and then if there's no more, you close it, and then you vote.
Are there any,
Camilla, does it go back to public comment also?
No, public comment is closed.
Okay.
now invite discussion of the commissioners on this motion. If there are no motions, if there's no discussions at the, now
I-
then,
I also would like to make a motion.
You have to amend the current one.
It's gonna be the.
Can I
opposite than
comment
that.
on that motion? Is it open for comment? I'm
Okay.
saying, can
Camilla?
you still comment on her original?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Can-
Sometimes I don't know if you're addressing me or if you're addressing the chair or Laura.
Sorry.
So if
Okay.
you're addressing me, please
Yes.
say my name.
Camilla.
Okay.
Camilla, can
Hold
our,
on,
no,
hold on one
Sanjay, can the alternates continue commenting?
So it's my understanding that the commissioner, we had our first, we had our second. The chair asked for discussion and then chair, you just closed for discussion, correct?
that's correct, yeah.
So chair, if you would like to, you could reopen for discussion prior to voting.
And what if somebody wants to amend the motion again?
We can amend the motion again. That's fine.
That's the last time?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
that's fine. I'm
There's no
sorry,
limit.
yes.
Excuse me. There's no limit. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to make a motion on commercial use organization may not charge participant more than $50 per hour for lesson or more than $50 per person per month for league play.
I second
And
that.
for the record, in addition to those amendments, then we'll adopt the policy as is.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so,
That amendment is seconded by me.
Commissioner Raj Singh has seconded the motion to approve the tennis rental policies the way written and by adding commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $50 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month for league play. Now invite discussion by commissioners on this motion.
Question.
Yes, Ms. Green.
So the first so the amendment to the first motion would disallow the first motion because the first motion was to remove the line, but the amendment is to
Change the line to
change the line to,
$50.
read it though, read what it says, good.
Commercial use organization may not charge participants more than $50 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month per league.
So when you say $50 per month for league,
That's for the league.
so you're saying that no one can charge anyone in a league
No
more
one.
than $50 a month?
Including the legacy and new organization. So that's why I didn't say legacy. So I just repeat the line, changing it with the $20. So nobody, including old, like coaches or the new one.
So $50 per month?
$50 per hour.
No,
For
it says
lessons.
$50 per month,
That's for the league play.
right,
League play is quite different than lessons.
right, but $50 a month?
Yeah.
Leagues are more than that.
No, it's.
We charge $40 for the whole week.
So there's a second. Do you want to close discussion?
Mr. Raj already said second.
Yep. Thank you for the discussion. We'll take a vote. Commissioner Green,
No,
Commissioner Maninder Singh,
Yes.
Commissioner Raj Singh,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
No.
aye. The motion passes with a vote of 3-2 to approve the final draft of tennis court rental policies with the inclusion of, with a change to the line that commercial use organizations may not charge participants more than $50 per hour for lessons or more than $50 per person per month for league play. Thank you, everyone, for this was. There's more. All right, discussion item 6A, create work plan and goals. Laura, do you have a presentation? Thank you again. Yeah.
I think I have my presentations mixed up. So I'll just show you a summary. So the commission was asked to create work plans for this year through June 2024. We're already at April now, so we only have a few months left. But a few months ago, we decided that the commission would start with a mission statement. So at their November meeting, they picked a mission statement. It's still important that the commission establish goals. However, you may only have to establish one or two more at the very most. So what I decided to do was show you what your current accomplishments were that we could have added as your goals at the beginning of the year, but just to give you some incentive of what kind of goals you'd like to accomplish between now and June. So using some of the things that you've accomplished, you created the mission statement, and you've already approved rental policies, and you've made recommendations. So staff recommends that the commission discuss and create their work plans through June 2024. It would typically take a lot more discussion. However, we are approaching 10:15 now. So you can, this is just a discussion item. So we can bring it back to a future meeting and we can open it up for more discussion then. We currently have a few goals that aren't defined here that we need to accomplish anyway. We're trying to accomplish our picnic rentals. We're trying to accomplish tennis rentals. And then hopefully by June, you'll have some fees. So I can certainly add these to the work plan and bring it back next month. So I don't know if there's any discussion or questions on that.
Any clarifying questions on our work plans?
Okay.
Thank you. We
Okay.
can have this discussion
Okay.
during the next meeting.
so I motion to table it until the next meeting.
Do we need a motion for that? Or
No,
Yes.
it'll come back as another discussion item. That's fine. Okay. And then if you'd like me, I'll go through our senior activity survey.
Yeah,
So 30 seniors attended our coffee chat, 26 participated in an online survey. They were given many activities in each of these categories. So it would range from exercise, social activities, classes, workshops, et cetera. So our coffee chat, again, we had a good turnout for our first one. We had some resources. We gave opportunities for seniors to go around to each of the boards and pick as many activities that they'd like to participate in. We had a large group from our Vintage Seniors, which is a current organization in town that previously ran senior programs. So these are just summaries. The walking group was the most popular class amongst exercise classes. They'd like to see more social dances. Arts and crafts came up quite a bit in as far as in activities go and cultural activities. A large number of seniors want to learn more about computers and cell phone use. Games is a big entertainment draw for them, card games, dominoes, bunco. Again, arts and crafts showed up again in the cultural activities. Managing independence for our older seniors, a lot of them wanted to learn about fall prevention and financial planning and retirement planning. They'd like to do more fitness strength training. So again, that was one of the most popular activities chosen amongst all of the options. Safety seminars, fraud prevention again came up, estate planning came up again. Outings, they'd like to go to festivals, museums, casinos was another big one that they'd like to do. And then just in summary, like I said, overwhelmingly, they want fitness type programs. Walking groups and strength training were our most popular. They want to take arts and crafts and participate in table games, and be more in social activities. They want to go on outings a lot and different field trips, and they showed an interest in learning. So right now, we've named our senior program the Primetime Seniors. That's kind of our overarching name. Our stakeholders are the Vidget Senior Group, and we have a lot of local seniors that we're trying to find. We're using the Firehouse Community Room right now as a central location. We're currently offering chair yoga and art of watercoloring on what we call Senior Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesday of the month. It's kind of an introduction to our senior programming. We're scheduling social activities on the second Mondays of the month. We have bingo and we'll have other games and club activities coming. We're hosting our very first Senior Health and Wellness Expo on May 1st. It's at the Unity Center, and we'll actually be opening that up to the public on Monday. So we'll be pushing it out starting April 1st. And staff right now, we're working on securing necessary resources to expand our program, meaning we need to create a budget. We have to have more staff time. So we're working on creating that for this next fiscal year. And that concludes that report. Any questions or comments about the senior programming? Okay. Do you want me to move to the next item?
Yes, please,
Okay.
discussion.
Our last
future-
item, future agenda, we still have concessions agreements we would need to discuss. We need to finish up our rental policy. So after we get through picnic and tennis, we have our indoor facilities, and then we'll be done. Staff is working on a special event policies at the moment. Again, we'll be working on our pricing guidelines and bringing back the park and rec fees as well as the sponsorship policy. And staff are currently working on creating an instructor handbook because we'd like to start offering recreation classes and programs. And that's the end of that report.
Any discussion? Discussion item 6C, future agenda items.
I just went over that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Item 7, and any comments by commissioners on non-agenda items? Would anyone like to share any updates?
Just want to thank staff for staying so late and staying through it with us. Thank you. And for public folks to come and comment.
Any updates on Little League?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Do you have any additional items?
I do not.
Item 8, park and facilities report. Do you have a presentation to share?
I do not. I want to thank anyone who came to our park reopening. Oh, yeah, Commissioner Singh came to that. We had the reopening of the playground. It was kind of last minute thing to put together, but it was highly successful. So we'll let you know of any other future park openings.
Okay, then can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Commissioner Raj Singh moves to adjourn. Is there a second? Aye. Commissioner Maninder Singh seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Meeting is adjourned until April 17th, 2024. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, public comments, Igor.